Okay, during our last session of Edge of Darkness, our investigators had just tackled Red Jake, who was a hobo that had been in the basement of the farmhouse that Rupert Merriweather had sent you guys out to investigate. After you guys had talked with Red Jake, he had kind of warned you that there was something, some monster or entity that came out of the house at night and hunted, and that he didn't want to stick around. He was only grabbing his things and trying to get away. Uh, this started to amp up the tension for Gillis and the rest of the party. Gillis kind of like had this come to God moment where up until this point he hasn't really believed in anything of the paranormal, and now is like actually starting to believe. Um, Archibald had also informed the party that he had found the dead body of um, Mc, Maggie
Maddie
McFeeder
McFeeters.
out in the woods. Um, at which point, Red Jake had kind of gone back into his psychoanalysis sort of thing because he kind of pieced together that she had died in his place the night prior. You guys were able to calm him down again, let him get his stuff and leave. And you guys kind of started to work through the house to kind of piece together what's going on and how to get rid of this entity. Uh, Gillis and Violet had went down into the basement where they had found a chest that
Violet got whapped, didn't she?
that was the session before. That's how you guys encountered Red Jake.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Uh,
My bad.
no, doing good. Uh, you guys had found a trunk that was full of the Dark Brotherhood stuff. So there was robes, all the Latin chants that they had used. Mary and Alan had updated the chants to now be a reverse spell, in a sense, to now send the entity back to where it came from versus the summoning that it originally had been. In addition, there was some powder that was used to start the ritual, as well as some other white powder that you guys weren't able to really piece together what it was, aside from that it may help see entities or repel entities as about as well as you could piece together. There was also a note from Mary and Alan where he detailed how to get rid of the monster. So it detailed when the ritual needed to happen, the steps to the ritual, including the chants, the markings for the emblem on the floor, all of that stuff. Uh, they didn't look at this material at this moment. They kind of just grabbed everything and had went back upstairs where Archibald was checking the back room and the attic. Uh, with Gillis's help, he had popped the attic door and barely nearly was ended there on the spot because as soon as he had opened the trap door, there was some scratching across the top of the attic, and he had jumped back before anything happened, which caused him and Gillis to take a little bit of damage um, just from the fall. But the trap door immediately slammed shut after that. Um, Everybody was on
Oh
edge,
God.
at which point there was a knock on the door. So everybody just nearly freaked out as Dr. Morietti had joined the party. He had been
Ah, I
sent.
wish he was here.
He had been sent by Reginald to look on the party since they hadn't phoned back to PICA to let Reginald know what was going on. Uh, Gillis at this point was freaked the fuck out and was about ready to leave. Um, so they decided to go out to the cars. Gillis's Model T and Dr. Morietti's Packard. They had pulled the cars up to each other so they could kind of talk to each other and kind of stake out the house to figure out what's going on. This is where they had gone through all the materials they got from the trunk, and now they realized they had the tools for success. Right about the point where they're trying to make their plan, they had seen a like swirling vortex come out of the attic and go out towards the woods. Uh, this had cost them a little bit of sanity seeing this entity because like they couldn't fully comprehend what they were even looking at. Not too long after this, they had heard a scream, which it was a male scream that kind of just ended abruptly. Feeling that this could be Red Jake, the party had went back out to the woods to investigate. Uh, they assumed it was close to where Maggie was, so Archibald had led them back over to Maggie's body, where they did some more examination between um, Gillis and Dr. Morietti's experience. They were able to piece together that the hole in her chest was from something reaching in and ripping her heart out, instead of like something exploding out or anything like that, which had them very concerned. They spent some time trying to find Red Jake out in the woods, but were unable to find anything before it started to get too dark and approaching the hour of the time for the ritual, since it had to be done at midnight if they were going to do it. So they decided to go back into the house where they had started the ritual preparations. Gillis and Violet had made the marking on the floor. Dr. Moriarty had got the powder ready and was standing over by the fireplace to throw the powder in. At the strike of midnight, Moriarty threw the powder in. It plumed up into some green flames, and they all began to chant in Latin. They had determined from Marion Allen's notes that they all had, or at least one person had to be chanting at all times. So they could kind of like take turns, but someone always had to be chanting. Otherwise, the spell would be broken and they'd have to restart from the beginning. They had put Dr. Moriarty on watcher, or they had put Archibald on watcher duty with Dr. Moriarty as a backup. For the first little bit, everything seemed to go all right. But after about 20 minutes of their chanting, they could start hearing scratching and everything up in the attic. Then there was some like foul howling. The lurker up in the attic had also started cursing at them, telling them that he was going to kill them. The house began to shake. There was like ooze coming from the walls, foul smells. Basically, there was even acid that could have started to drip with that ooze that had landed on a couple of the investigators. They all continued to hold fast to this chanting, though, at which point Violet heard a soft female voice calling out for help. She kind of shook it off, assuming that it was another trick, and then everybody started to hear it. Gillis and Archibald made the mistake of looking at the window, at which point they saw the reanimated corpse of Maggie McFeeters. Gillis was able to hold it together and kind of focus back in on the chanting, but unfortunately for Archibald, this shook him to his core, at which point Archibald went temporarily insane. He just started laughing hysterically, just standing there, which began to unsettle the rest of the party. Dr. Moriarty had then gone up to like disarm Archibald, because Archibald was the only one with a handgun. Managed to do this and kind of left Archibald to his own devices. And Moriarty had lined up and shot Maggie McFeeters because she was starting to reach up to the warding that Marion Allen had put over the entryway. So the party had realized that the warding prevented evil spirits from coming in, and this reanimated corpse was trying to rip it down. After taking out Maggie McFeeters, they went back to the chanting. Before too long, though, they started hearing, "You should have left when I told you," as a reanimated corpse of Red Jake had then come up. He immediately went for the warding instead of waiting. Moriarty had lined up another shot, dead center on the head. Unfortunately, though, all this did was kind of rock him back before he went back to scratching at the warding.
Oh, shit.
Moriarty, thinking fast, had then grabbed the 2x4 sort of like bar over the door and ripped that off and then shoved it into Red Jake, busting the window and basically forcing him to the ground. The immediate threats being dealt with, they all went back to chanting, but the lurker grew desperate, so he started changing the smells in the house. Everybody started to smell whatever their favorite home-cooked meal was. For Gillis, this was, I think, like Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes.
Yes.
In fact, it was so enticing because he hadn't eaten in a while that he had put down his paper chant and started walking towards the kitchen. Moriarty was able to talk him out of it. and got everybody back to chanting. As they approached the 1 hour mark, there was a swirling that forced the entity down into the markings on the floor. But instead of seeing this horrifying monster, it was Morietti's lost love. Cracking under this, and because Moriarty desired nothing more to talk to his sweet Maria again, he had stopped chanting and was almost making contact with the entity. Gillis, returning the favor, had convinced Dr. Moriarty that this was a trick. There's no way that this could be happening. Sensing that this wasn't working, the lurker had then shifted to Archibald's grandfather. With the help of the other investigators, Archibald had also been able to piece together that there's no way his grandfather, one, could be here, and two, would be trying to convince him to follow the occult, since his grandfather was a firm non-believer of the occult. As the hour mark finally hits, the entity started to get swirled down into the floor into another plane of existence. But before that, it made sure to yell out that it would return, that it knew every single one of these investigators by name, and that it would find them.
Oh, shit.
At this point, the investigators, freaked out, had went out to the cars. So it is currently 1 a.m. at the Rupert Merriweather farmhouse, which is just outside of Ross's Corners. You guys currently have 2 dead bodies laying outside the window of the farmhouse. The floor is yours.
You said we went out to the cars, correct?
That's where you were heading. So, like, in the transition of the front room and the cars is the current plan, unless you guys want to pick up somewhere else.
Will you remind me what year it is currently?
1923.
1923.
So we would call it July of 1923.
Oh,
dude, so that means, that means Gillis was alive in the fucking 18th century. Oh, no, 19th century, my bad.
I was gonna, like, just for, like, what I was gonna do, like, Archibald was gonna go over to, like, the car and, like, turn on one of the radios and try to find a song that he liked to kind of, like, calm him down, which was gonna be In the Mood by the Glenn Miller Band.
Oh, they don't exist.
But, yeah, we're 1 year before they existed.
Yeah, so Gillis is just going to be, like, white-knuckling the, like, trunk of my Model T and just, like, kind of, like, with it, but, like, trying to sort of, like, play back the events that went past just in the last hour and a half. And I just, like, look with a cold sweat down my forehead. Archibald, what are we going to do about those? And I just point back towards the bodies outside the house.
And, like, Archibald, pretty, like straight face, like, he's not really showing, like, any kind of, like, emotion of, like, worry or concern. More like he's kind of trying to calm himself down in his head so he's in his happy place. He looks over towards the dead bodies and looks back at you, and he looks at the cars and he goes, they should fit in the trunk.
Absurd! No! Do you see the nice... No. No. I mean...
Well, what do you want to do, chap? Burying him here?
I mean... I've never done this before.
Dug a grave?
I just looked at you blankly with, like, a open mouth. I looked over at Violet, and I'm like, I mean, are you opposed? Where are we going to dump these bodies if not here?
I don't really think dumping is what we should be doing. They should probably come back with us for scientific research. What do you say, Violet?
Well, yeah. I just looked over at Violet.
Violet's still reading her book. Looks up at you guys. I mean, I guess we could put them in the trunk and take them with us for now.
I like how Violet exits this house and she's just reading.
And then I go back to reading my book.
GM, after she says that, not necessarily thinking about the angle of being able to study the bodies, makes me more persuaded to put them in the trunk. However, can we find a rug in the house or like maybe a tarp in the barn to roll them up?
If I recall, there was the tarp over the chest that you guys got all the materials out of. And
There was.
Is it
there's
big enough to
also
roll up a body though?
maybe one. There was also, if I recall, a rug in the center or the front room.
Yeah, what is that, number 6? No, those are blankets. There are blankets inside the
Yeah.
house.
Oh, where is that at? Is that...
I'm looking at the map. If you scroll up through our general chat, you'll see the map of the house that we're at.
So yeah, there were some blankets in the front room. There's a tarp downstairs. If you would like, you could give me a luck roll to see if you've got something bigger in the house. Remember,
Okay,
it's been
and what-
kind of abandoned for about 30 years because
Yeah.
Rupert was terrified of coming back to the house.
Yeah, it just smells like piss and shit. What was the luck roll again? Oh, 60 right here. Okay, here we go. 24.
Yeah, we'll say at least one of those blankets, or you find at least 2 blankets that are, because that would be a hard success, that are big enough for each of the bodies. The thing that you benefit from, morbidly speaking, is Maggie had been out for almost a full day now, so most of her blood is congealed. So like,
Not the same for Red Jake though, right?
Red Jake is fairly fresh, so like the wool blanket's a little saturated from wrapping him up.
Okay. So after grabbing the blankets, I just looked at the 2 of them. All right. I found these, and I just kind of like picnic blanket style, just flop it onto the ground, and I'll take off my coat, my suit coat or whatever, and I'll roll up my sleeves, and I have like a black vest. It's a whole thing right now. You know what I'm saying? And I just look over. I can't do this by myself.
Archibald will go over and help. And as like he's helping you, beep, 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 beep,
We
beep,
can
beep,
hear
beep,
that
beep,
typing
beep,
over
beep.
the Discord. Delightful.
It threw me off for a second. Like Archibald wanted to react to that. Like, what the? No, so Archibald will come over and he'll help you. And like as he's helping you carry like one body, he'll look up to you and say, "So which one do you want to ride with? This one or the other?"
I look down at Maddie and look over at Jake. I'll take the gal if you don't mind.
Yeah, the one with the exploded chest. Not a problem. She's all yours.
So like we'll just like pick her up by legs and arms, I suppose,
Yeah,
and
like,
just like roll her up like a sausage burrito.
carry her out to your car like we're carrying a rug.
Yeah.
Just kind of give her the good old heave. Ho!
Definitely have no more trunk space. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how much trunk space a Model T has. So,
Not a whole lot. We probably have to fold her like a taco.
yeah, not so much a burrito, but more of a taco. Yeah, and we'll just move on with Red Jake. Is it going to be possible to manipulate Jake's body without getting blood on me?
Give me a luck roll.
Oh Christ!
Oh, so I guess with all of these
Oh
pictures
my
are just
God!
going up.
I just rolled a 100.
Oh my god.
So-
000.
so- Not only do you manage to get blood on you
no.
during the movement, whether it because of how Archibald's holding or you're holding,
No,
one
I
of the
don't have a good
main
grip.
arteries had been pierced from the strike that Dr. Moriarty had. So it squirts a stream of blood straight in your face. Give me a sanity roll.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I guess according to the Model T for reference, we're going to be stuffing her in the back seat.
Okay.
What was the type of car that Archibald had borrowed from the professor?
Or the Moriarty's got a Packard. What did you pass on that sanity?
No, dude, I rolled a 77.
Okay, let me snag a D4 real quick.
I just start to dad, and I spit. It got in my mouth. It got in my mouth.
Hi, Matt.
And, like,
find your
Sorry,
find your meatballs, will ya?
And we'll say like this happens like right as we're about to like toss Jake into the like your car or Moriarty's car, and that like that's where it goes wrong. It just like I was holding his arms and he fell down on my knee, and it just.
You're gonna take.
Archibald puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, "You've clearly never been to Brooklyn, have you?"
You're gonna take 10. Or
Damn!
no, not 10. 3 sanity damage.
Okay.
Marginally
yeah,
better.
Archibald, I cannot even like. I can't even like really give you a response about the whole Brooklyn thing, because I just like him staring like down at Red Jake's corpse with his blood all over my fucking face and chest, and I'm like, let's just do this already, and I go to pick up his arms again.
Archibald will help you heave-ho him into the back seat of the Packard, and he's gonna like after we get Red Jake into the back seat of the car, Archibald will like reach into his coat pocket and pull out a little hanky and offer it over.
I take it knowing it's not going to be enough, but
Yeah, it's like this big.
Yeah, and I just make do with what I can. Eventually, it just ends up smearing places because of like the saturation of blood. But yeah, I guess we like go. I can't remember.
So
we got.
it's about a 20 minute, or it's about a 5-minute drive. We'll call it 15, back into Ross's Corner because it's like farmhouse. It's
And
about
but back
2
in town
hours
is like 2 hours, right?
to get to Arkham.
Okay.
It's currently 1 a.m.
Violet, I have a question. Could you put down the book for a goddamn second? Do you realize what we're dealing with here? I'm sorry. Let me dial up.
Violet, still reading her book, looks up at you, but like, what?
My eye just like twitches. Here's the thing. It might be better to stay somewhere in Ross's Corner tonight. However, the thing is, if we do that, how are we going to hide the fact that we got bodies in our cars? But on top of that, we're not getting back to Arkham until at least 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I just like start putting my hands over my face and just like getting overwhelmed.
Oh, I'm gonna look at my book again while I was listening to you. Look back up at you like, I mean, I guess don't we have like blankets that we could just cover them with? That way they're not like scene? That way we can get where we're going?
Sure, but you can't tell me, and I look over to my Model T, that doesn't look like a person under a blanket in the back of my car.
Just
I mean,
tell him
you
that
guys
we're
are the
from
ones that did that.
CIA.
No one
What do
said
you
you had
think
to
we
be
should
so
do?
aggressive with her.
What?
No one said you had to be so aggressive with her when you were putting her in your car.
Well, that's besides the point. All I'm saying is, do you think we should try and find a place to stay in Ross's corner for the night? Or should we make it back to Arkham?
I think we can make it back to Arkham just fine. And I go back to my book.
You just see relief like go over my face because that's like what I wanted to do, but I wasn't going to say it. I look over to Archibald. Well, are you okay with that?
Of course. And if anything, remember, we can just tell them that we're from, if we get pulled over, we'll just say we're from the CIA or whatever you said.
The IRS?
The IRS, that's right. The CIA hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, god damn it.
God damn it.
So yeah, GM, I guess we're gonna like make the trek back to Arkham in the fucking middle of the night.
Alrighty. So Gillis, I assume you're driving, and then we'll play it off as Dr. Morietti's driving the other one.
Yeah.
Give me a drive auto roll. So
Okay.
it's late. You guys have not slept since you got up this morning, which I think you guys met at what? I think it was what, 10 or 11?
Yeah.
I think
Then
so,
you
yeah.
made the drive out here, met with the locals, stayed up to do this ritual. So it's currently 1 a.m. So this is going to be a little bit more of an issue of driving late at night after doing this for 2 hours in the dark,
That's gonna be a 26.
which
Right?
is that a hard success?
Oh,
Regular success?
Oh, I guess it's a hard success. Wait, is that the middle number?
Yeah, hard success is the half level.
Oh, so so it's like 17. So it had to be 17 or lower.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's just a regular.
just
success.
regular. All right, and I'm going to roll for Dr. Morietti. Morietti feeling the pressure, because being a doctor and now having a dead body in the back of his car and his weighing heavy on his conscience, he is continually swerving. Who's riding with Dr. Morietti?
It would. I feel like with the bodies in both the cars, it'd have to be one in each, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Violet, do you want to go with Moriarty or you want to go with Gillis?
She looks up from her book again. I don't care either way. Show me where to go, and I'll go into that vehicle.
She's reading her book.
Looks like
And then
it's
I
you
go
and
back
me,
to my book.
Archibald.
Yeah, I was gonna say Archibald's gonna like slap Gillis on the shoulder and says, "I'm not gonna let you down. I'll be by your side."
So
And-
Violet, you'll notice that Morietti is swerving a little bit. It's fine for the moment because no one else is on the road at this hour, but it's like that progressive more and more. So without some
Ooh,
sort of
scary.
intervention,
That'd be bad. Do I see this happening behind me?
depends on how often you're checking the rear view mirror.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna roll 50 or below. I looked and at 50 or above. I don't. That's going to be 67. So I don't. Yeah.
You got
I,
10 and
I'm-
2 looking straight
Yeah.
ahead.
yeah, white knuckling the steering wheel.
And I'm just gonna say, like, for frame of reference, Archibald would not notice this either because he's too busy, like, humming a tune while he's tapping on the dashboard, and like every time it comes to like a crescendo, he's like do 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 pop. On the papa, he violently pokes Gillis like in the side.
Stop it! Seriously, I am trying to focus on the road.
Lighten up the mood. You see, you gotta get in a little bit of a better attitude.
I just look over you like, and look back to the road again.
Violet, do you do anything?
Am I able to like smack him to make sure he's paying attention?
Yeah, that would suffice. What we'll do with that is we'll roll again with a bonus die, which is a significantly better roll. So your intervention works out pretty well. While he's similar to Gillis, white knuckling the hell out of this steering wheel, he is now kind of focused up enough, got out of his headspace to stay on the road. While
Mamma mia!
for a frame of reference, Dr. Moriarty is Italian.
Italian.
And I will say Shannon had a killer Italian accent. He
Dude,
crushed it.
I want to. Have you already reached out to him?
Yeah, he said he
Yeah.
won't be able to make it.
Ah, fuck. Okay.
He wished
Yeah,
us
he's
the
got
best,
work.
though. You guys are able to make your way into Arkham. Luckily for you, PICA, at least in some capacity, is 24 hours. When you walk in, there is Reginald isn't currently on shift, just because he typically takes the day shift. But you will see Margaret at the counter. Well, aren't you guys coming in pretty late tonight?
I stay silent with like heavy bags under my middle-aged eyes and like dried bloodstains that's been like minimally wiped down up my body. Do I even recognize this girl? Have I met her yet?
No, I think you guys have only been to PICA during the day.
I just like exhale exhaustedly, and I just like look over to them. I'm like, I don't know.
Archibald will like kind of throw an elbow up onto the desk and kind of like lean over it at her. And he just says, we needed the overtime. Say, what should we do? We've got some things in the back of our cars, and I'm pretty sure Reginald's back seat's gonna need a detail.
Well,
Definitely.
can you be more specific with these things? Are they creatures that we need to lock up? Are they things that need to be cleaned and be taken care of? As for the cars, once we've dealt with these other things, we can just pull around and have the boys detail it in the morning. I assume you guys will probably need some rest since it's 3:30 a.m.
I'm not so sure about if they need to be locked up or not. They seem pretty dead to me.
They're victims of the paranormal.
Well, I'm sure Reginald will want the full details in the morning. Why don't you bring them? Go ahead and start bringing them in. We have a mortuary on the basement level that we can take them down to be examined. And we also have some rooms if you'd like to stay here for the evening. That way you can meet with Reginald.
Archibald just says, perfect, and slaps Gillis on the chest and says, more heavy lifting. Let's go.
Oh, just like I don't have it in me to even like flex the chest so that doesn't hurt.
Like as he kind of like hits Archibald on the chest, he also like kind of like grabs him by the tie and starts ushering him towards the door to get the bodies, but not before turning and piping over his shoulder and saying, hey doll, how about a cup of coffee?
Oh, that should be easy enough. You'll see Margaret actually leave the desk to go get a couple of the other individuals that are currently on shift in PICA to come out and help. So you'll have a couple extra hands to
Oh,
bring in the
perfect.
bodies.
Great.
And then she'll go pour everybody a cup of coffee.
2 sugars, please.
She'll currently kind of nod. And
How do I get black?
if you all are wanting rooms, those are on the 3rd floor of the building. We currently don't have anybody's. You can choose your pick. They're all furnished the same, but
Perfect. Thank you. And then I guess I'll just start heading back to the cars where they're parked. And deal with all that jazz.
unless you guys want to do something in addition during this time frame, we'll say you're easily able to get the bodies in with the help of the other PICA members. Take those down to the mortuary. There's currently a doctor on shift that kind of starts looking over the bodies, seeing that you guys are tired, and he can even see the blood stain on Gillis's clothes. He doesn't pry into the details, assuming he'll get those on the next day. You guys are able to go up, get some coffee, calm the nerves a little bit as Margaret takes you up to the rooms there, let you guys kind of get settled in for the evening. Unless you want to do something else, we'll let you guys rest. Assume that you guys get a full night's. We'll even say, since you went to bed so late, we'll call it probably 10 or 11 before any of you guys are getting up, if not later.
Yeah, I'll just. Is there like a shower or bath in the rooms?
It's kind of like the dormitory style, where there's like a bathroom down the hall, or like for the showers and everything. There's a toilet like room in the room itself, but like for actual showering, it's like a communal shower sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just get washed up before going to bed and all that. Just like again replaying all the events of like having this sort of like kind of like this crisis of realizing that like, you know, paranormal things are not only real but almost could have died because of it tonight, and then just go to bed.
Anything special for Archibald or Violet?
Archibald will enjoy his cup of coffee as he retreats to the room and takes a very long, hot shower. Wanders over to the window and kind of stares out, looking at his pocket watch. And then closes it and will go to bed.
How about you, Violet?
Well, Violet's gonna be in her room reading her book until she gets tired enough to fall asleep.
Violet falls asleep with it like on her face.
Exactly.
What is the book you were reading? Has that been asked yet? Isn't it
No.
like a cult thing or something? Or I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought you were given a book on.
She has the
occult.
Dark Brotherhood journal that she read through. I don't know if that's the one she's currently reading, but she has read through that one, which gave her some points into occult and Cthulhu mythos.
That's right.
All right.
Well, it's a new day, a new dollar or something.
Yeah,
whatever
so
the
I would
phrase
say the
is.
earliest is probably 11 o'clock for everybody kind of like rousing. Whatever
Probably
you guys
around
are.
12.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll say about 12, all of you kind of recouped enough to have the conversation with Reginald. Reginald Billinghurst has been waiting in anticipation in his office for you guys. As you come in, he kind of adjusts his glasses. Good morning, or afternoon, I should say. It sounds like you had an eventful evening out at the farmhouse. Will you regale me with the events that occurred?
Well, upon our closer inspection, it seems that some of the local people of Ross's Corner had been killed by what we ultimately discovered was a djinn. And and I just kind of start getting a little choked up slightly, whatever, and just let someone else jump in.
Reginald, one of them turned into a zombie. Well, both of them kind of turned into zombies. Poor girl. See, she had her chest. It's all... And he kind of like does this gesture with his hands, hoping that Reginald gets the point.
I assume you're referring to the two bodies down in the coroner's office?
Indeed.
Yeah, that would be them.
Can you give me more specifics on who they are? I assume you're going to need us to reach out to Ross's Corners to fill them in, so there's no questions asked. I would assume you guys are now main suspects for the missing persons.
Of course, always blame the IRS.
The challenges we might have, we know one was Maddie McFeeters. She was a neighbor to the property that all this went down. However, the second victim was a homeless man, and he may not even be from, I don't know.
Well, as bad it is to say, him being a hobo actually probably makes the cover up a little bit easier. In my experience, mixing in a little bit of the truth with a lie helps make the cover up stick a little bit better. So if you could give me more details into what happened. You said it was a djinn. These both were reanimated. What happened before that? You referenced the hole in her chest. Was that from the djinn? What you guys did to stop her?
To be fair, we don't really know. But we found her like that, you see.
Okay, so the hole in the chest, we could say, was prior to you guys being there.
And the Red Jake, as he went, he was just nailed right in the forehead. As far as addressing that bullet wound, as far as all the other details, some of us were entranced by the senses. Myself, by scent, and Moriarty, he saw his dead lover. It was even Archibald.
Well,
so there was a.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
If you recall, when we talked beforehand, when we had an inclination that it may be a djinn, was they use their abilities to entice, kind of like a monkey's paw sort of thing, where they promise you some sort of gift, but never intend to give it in any way. So it seems to me that Moriarty's lost lover was presented to him because it's something that he truly desires. Archibald's grandfather is something that he's tied very closely to. It enticed you with food, you said. All of this was an attempt for it to remain on the mortal plane. Were you successful in expelling said entity?
For now, yes. I think we were successful.
I assume you brought back the
how...
notes and everything from the ritual you performed.
Of course.
This will be good to add to
pull out my briefcase. Yeah, and just throw it all out on the desk.
Good. So, as much as it pains me to say, since Red Jake was just an innocent brought up into all of this, much like Maggie, I think the easiest cover up would be to say that Maggie McFeeters was attacked by Red Jake, and upon doing his vile act of removing her heart, he shot her, at which point he committed the same ritual on himself, and due to the pain shot himself to conclude it, and you guys came in on the scene, striking him in the head, trying to prevent him from going through with the final act. That should account for all of the wounds that the bodies have taken at this point, and leave you guys out of it.
But I think that might just work.
Especially with us having the coroners here do everything, it should reduce the amount of questions asked. We'll start compiling the reports. I'm going to recommend that you guys all take some time off. The sarcophagus that you wanted to have translated is still going to take a few weeks just because of the expert we need to contact. But before you all head out, I did have someone I wanted you to meet. We had a recent member added to PICA who I think their connections will prove invaluable. As you know, most cultists and creatures of the night tend to incorporate themselves with the underworld. So the people
the more the merrier.
At which point, Lucio, please send in Carmila.
Oh,
I love caramel.
I just shake my head. I just don't even know what to say to that.
I'm gonna have.
Is that
you can go ahead and
Okay.
describe your character, and then I'll kind of go from there. Or everybody can describe their characters, and we'll.
Okay.
either one? Carmila Rockfellow is about 6'4".
Rockfellow?
Yep,
I
Rockfellow.
love that.
Yes. She has a dirty blonde hair. Looks like she doesn't sleep at all, and has quite the muscular build. Here's basically what she's wearing when she walks in, with a strange occult tattoo on her,
That
open part of
almost,
her chest.
that almost gives me like Constantine vibes.
Ooh, yes. But she is quite the tall and thick lady.
Wow.
Is this who I'm supposed to be helping?
Do you want to go first, Archibald?
Yeah, Archibald will approach you and reach out to shake your hand, and like it's like a like not necessarily like a violent shake, but a wild shake, like up and down.
She grabs your forearm instead of just your hand, though.
Oh, Christ.
Okay, yeah, Archibald will match your energy, and he says very proudly with a grin on his face, "Nice to meet ya, Archibald Whitley, private investigator. My badge."
That's right. That's right. Oh, I love it.
She sees the
And
middle.
Catchphrase.
Okay.
Everybody.
I'm
Good.
just gonna. I know it was shown earlier, but I also just have his picture handy dandy on hand. But he's got like slick back hair, and just like a gray and black suit with matching tie. I put his picture in the general chat. I based him off of Cary Grant, if you know who Cary Grant is.
Yeah. She's gonna kind of strong arm you when she sees you starting to go a little too wild. She kind of just stops your arm from moving, and she takes a long drag from her cigarette and kind of blows it in your face. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Carmila Rockfellow.
Yeah,
Wow.
got a good grip there, I see. Wonder what else you do with that arm. And he kind of like.
She just smirks at you and goes, "Maybe we'll find out." As she lets go of your arm and kind of walks past you as she takes another drag of her cigarette to meet the rest.
Violet, you can go if you'd like.
Alright, well, Violet's gonna look up from her book, because, of course she has her book. She's gonna look at you. Well, good to meet you. My name's Violet Robinson. She's gonna be about 5 feet 5 inches tall. She's got long brown hair, and she's got piercing blue eyes.
She looks down at you at her 6'3" status as she takes another hit from her cigarette. Carmilla, nice to meet you. I didn't know we had fucking nerds in this party. As she walks past you.
Shit!
Fail
I
then.
I
I go
just
back to my
looked over-
book.
Throwing some shade.
Well, just a quick question for clarification. Is your cigarette in like one of those like long things?
No.
Cruella
She's
DeVille?
not a fan. Yeah, no, she ain't that fucking fancy.
Okay.
Honestly,
okay.
yeah.
So, like, for the times, smoking in the way that you are is probably a little controversial. Then, wouldn't you say?
What do you mean?
Just wasn't it? Never mind. Never mind. I just.
No, you're right. It was typically males were the only ones that smoked straight. There was usually a divider.
Yeah. She's a whole controversy. She dresses like a man. She steps up like a man, and she smokes like a man.
Wow.
And she drinks like a man.
Wow, I love that. So you'll see, I don't walk to approach you, but I do turn to face you. I'm wearing sort of like a light brown dress pants with a white shirt that's buttoned up shirt that's tucked in with a black vest and also a suit coat that matches the color of my pants. I have a gold monocle over one eye and have like this sort of like the silver fox look with the hair, but I don't look like a silver fox, more like a silver hound.
With like the droopy skin.
Not quite. I'm rather tall. I'm not quite as tall as you, but I am over 6 feet. A little lanky, and I also kind of went with a Sigmund Freud kind of look. So that's kind of like somewhere around that approximation of like characteristics.
She
I have a picture here.
Oh yeah, show me a picture. She kind of eyes you up and down, just goes, compliments to your tailor. Good taste.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Gilus Hornbyll, and you look rather dangerous, and I think we're going to need someone like that.
She kind of just, as she like already finishes the first cigarette, she kind of flicks it, and she blows out the smoke again, and she goes, I'm exactly that. And even though you look like a fucking nerd, you look like you have some reputation, and I can respect that.
I don't appreciate the name calling, but okay, yeah, I'll take that backhanded compliment.
She nods.
I look over at Reginald. That's his name, right? Yeah. And so are you saying we're just on a little bit of a break? We're going to all take a recess until maybe you dip back from this contact, it sounds like?
Yes, more or less. We typically try to have every single team that we send out in the field to take a little bit of a hiatus after an encounter. I'm sure all of you are a little bit shaken from not only what you just had to cover up, but what you encountered. So we usually give you some time to reacclimate to polite society before going back out.
Are you saying that in character?
Yes.
She kind of like looks over her shoulder and she goes, so you bring me in just to tell me all we're taking a day off?
I mean, you're more than welcome to go out and do whatever you like on the town. But seeing as this is one of the few teams that have come back successfully from dealing something as high of a threat as a Jinn, I feel that having their experience and their approach to this problem solving is most adequate for your skill set, because as Gillis pointed out, being dangerous is handy. Going into a fight that you can never win just because you want to fight isn't always going to be successful.
She kind of like looks around the group and goes, which one is the most important one to keep alive?
I just like selfishly point to myself.
Meanwhile, you see
All
kind
right.
of Gillis or Reginald readjusting his glasses. Take this time to maybe get acquainted with each other, recuperate, maybe go back, spend some time with your normal jobs. That's while we're happy to have you work full time here at PICA if you so choose. I know, like Gillis, you have your own practice to maintain. Violet, I'm sure you're working on your next book. Take this time to readjust, work on accruing some funds before the next expedition. If the sarcophagus leads to anything remotely related to what you guys just encountered, it may be rather grueling and time-consuming.
In fact, I'll at this point pull out a stack of business cards from my pocket, from the inside of my jacket, and I'll give each of you my card, and it has like my it's my therapy. What's the right word for like a place where you go get therapy?
Psychiatrist?
An apothecary.
Apothecary.
Well,
apothecary is more like
little...
medicine, but
Anyways, it's just my office. We'll just call it that. It's Jill and Bill therapy, and I just give you all that, and I will try reaching out to all of you, but because I think it will be important for us as a group to really get to know each other, especially if we're going to continue to put our lives on the line like this. So, though I have my own things to do, maybe we could all get some lunch sometime in the next couple of weeks.
So you gave a card to Archibald, correct?
Yeah, I gave a card to everybody.
You'll notice that Archibald, like, he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out his little journal and flips to the last page that he was writing about you and sticks your card in there and closes the book and puts it back in his pocket.
She looks at the card and goes, Doc, when's your next open appointment?
Well, I was actually thinking about maybe taking a break from the therapeutic services, but we could use that as a moment to bond, if you would like to work something out.
Sure, we can bond. When's your opening?
Duh. And I just like stutter just slightly. Maybe 12. Tomorrow. Why not?
No, I'll see you tomorrow. And she kind of tucks it in and she just walks out.
Well, thank you. This is a much needed break. I went into this not knowing what I was going to be getting into. I thought it was just a bunch of hocus pocus. And now I'm questioning my life decisions. So, I'll bid you all adieu, Reginald.
And Gillis, if you ever need, remember we do have some psychoanalysts here if you would like to meet with someone. I know that you are pretty frequent in this field, but it's hard to provide therapy to yourself.
I just scoff at it, because, like, even though I know what I went through has affected me deeply, I refuse to believe that, like, my knowledge and education in that space, almost like I'm invulnerable to it. You know what I'm saying? And I look over at Violet. Violet, I think we started off on the wrong foot. You especially should come over sometime and we can have some tea. I think it would be nice. We can talk about your book or whatever.
Violet looks up from her book, looks at you, looks back at her book, and then like, I mean, I guess we could do that. I'll talk about my books that I've written if you would like.
I would love that. I just give
And then I use your card and put it as a bookmark.
Ah, great. I love that. And I'll walk out just moments after Carmila. Do you guys want to give yourself an exit?
So you left the room, right?
Yeah.
Archibald will kind of like check in his pocket to see if maybe he still has his little handy dandy spy camera, and he nods his head at Carmila, and he says, "Love that name. Caramel's delicious."
She
And
actually already walked out. Sorry.
oh well. And he's gonna leave, but he's going to be tailing behind Dr. Gillis.
Dude, you've already checked me out in my office, and now you're gonna tail me? You are a little detective, you little scoundrel, you.
Archibald, are you trying to be stealthy?
Yeah, but maybe not in the best of sense.
Give me a stealth roll.
Let's see here. What is my stealth? Oh. Okay. We can do this. Oh. Damn it. I rolled a 48, and my lowest number on stealth is 25. Or my highest number is 25.
Gotcha. So, Gillis is completely aware that you're tailing him. Whether or not he acts on it is up to him, but...
I kind of imagine it's one of those situations where maybe he's just like, it's like in the Walmart parking lot where you say bye to somebody and you're like walking the same direction to your cars, and it's like, you feel like, you can't say bye again or something. So for now, I guess I just will like play it off, not think anything of it.
All right. So we're going to go into what's referred to as a developmental phase. To start off, This is our skill improvements. Gillis, you've already knocked yours out. Carmila, unfortunately, this won't apply to you because you haven't done any rolls yet.
All good.
What I'm tracking, Archibald, you'll get to do skill improvements for psychology, dodge, and occult. If you remember, these are ones where you roll the D100. You need to hit higher than what you currently have in that skill. If you do that, you get to roll a D10 and add that to that skill. Violet, you have listen, medicine, occult, and psychology. Remove any check marks that you currently have on your character sheets, and this will apply to everybody. You won't check them again unless you get a successful roll in a skill after this developmental phase.
Okay.
After this, we'll kind of go around the table here. You guys have a few options during the developmental phase. So if you want to regain any sanity, you have a couple options for this. You can go do some RP in relation to a backstory element. So basically, you'll go... So for Archibald, this might be you go spend some time looking at your pocket watch because that's an important thing in your backstory. At the end of that, we'll do a sanity roll. If you get success, you'll get to add 1d6 sanity points from interacting with that backstory element. The other option is to do the psychoanalysis, so you can meet with either Gillis, since he's proficient at it, or any other doctor at PICA, and they'll do...
Oh, cool, I didn't even think about it like that.
You'll do a psychoanalysis roll, or versus the doctor's psychoanalysis score. If you succeed on that, you'll also get to heal 1d3 sanity. The only risk is with the psychoanalysis, if you fumble, which is a 100 or a 96, depending on what their psychoanalysis score is, you'll take sanity damage, and the relationship with the doctor is a little bit rough, and you'll probably need to see a different doctor to improve
Oh,
any
shit.
sanity after that. But that's a fumble, so like it would be a crit fail essentially. This is also a chance, like if you haven't already picked a key connection, please pick one. So that's a key element in your backstory that like grounds you to reality. During these developmental phases, you can change which key connection you currently have. So like Archibald, I'm going to use you again because I know your backstory offhand. It might be your grandfather's pocket watch. That's what grounds you to reality. What that means is, as a keeper, I can't touch that backstory element without giving you a chance to prevent it from happening. So like whenever you have bouts of insanity, I can go and change things on your character sheet. So it might be like it was important, like you value wealth, but I can go in your backstory on a bout of sanity and change it to like wealth is appalling to you and you hate anybody that's wealthy, and like completely change what that means to you as far as a character. But if it's a key connection, I can't do that unless you have a chance to roll against it.
Cool.
This is also a chance for you guys to work on your employment. So at the end of this phase, if you'd like to potentially increase your current wealth, I'll have you roll a profession check, which could then increase what your current credit rating is. So like your standing as a therapist might increase, so now you're a little bit more wealthy. The reverse applies though, like if you happen to make some poor decisions or have a fumble on that roll, you could drop in standing or whatever. The last thing that kind of applies for this set is if you guys want to work on a specific skill. So maybe you want to take up fencing. You can spend this time working on fencing. It typically takes 4 months to increase a skill. But if you roll high enough at the end of this set, like downtime in that skill, so like if you succeed, you've basically succeeded in 1 month. If you get a hard success, you're going to cut that in half, so it's only going to take 2 months to be able to do a skill improvement. If you get a critical success, it'll reduce it down, and you immediately get to do a skill improvement at the end of this developmental phase. So I'll let you guys mull that over. We'll take a quick break. I want to go mix another drink, but we'll meet back in about 5 minutes if that works for everybody. Go ahead and do your skill improvements, and then we'll go around the room on what everybody wants to do during this time. If everybody's back, it sounds like we got everybody back. We'll go ahead and start our developmental phase. So we'll just go in order of Discord here. So Carmilla, what is it you would like to work on? And I'm going to switch us up to our 1920s vintage music.
Yes, I was waiting for it.
The first thing I do is I want to go visit Gilus for my appointment.
Yeah, I'll say upon going home last night, I don't know how far Archibald went. At some point, when I get back, I just go to a heavy binge of my liquor cabinet. I pull out like some aged brandy, and I have like more than enough for a good time. And just try to like watch my fireplace. To be honest, like I kind of, is it fair to say that I can switch back and forth from sleeping at my like apartment or whatever / my office?
So we'll kind of work through this. So you said your practice was in New York when we talked with each other. Have you set up another one here in Arkham?
Oh no. I forgot. Where is Arkham in relation to
Massachusetts?
Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
So I mean, like,
yeah. So I'm not
geographically they're relatively close, but also
not practical. Never mind. Yeah.
But we could say you have like a temporary practice, or maybe you work out of PICA whenever you're here.
Okay, sure. We'll say that. That's a little embarrassing that I did that card bit, so that's my bad. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just saying all that to set up the fact that I have a huge hangover, and I'm using hair of the dog as the cure. So when you arrive, I'm probably like 2 glasses, like, gentleman glasses of brandy in.
You see she kind of like kicks your door open a little bit, not too hard, but not too hefty. As she's holding like a paper bag in one of her arms. She closes the door. Kind of looks around at your office. She's dragging her again.
It's a little temporary. The one back in New York is much more impressive.
She takes
I mean, this room doesn't even have a fireplace, for God's sakes.
She kind of lets out a small little, almost amused chuckle. She goes, "A room's a room." As she sits down and puts the bag on the ground as she opens it, you see her take out 2 shot glasses and a premium fine whiskey bottle next to it. And then she also brings out 2 wrapped pieces of paper as she unwraps them, and they're Philly cheesesteak sandwiches.
Wow. If you were trying to get my friendship going here, this is a great start, Carmilla. And I just grabbed the 2 shot glasses and put them on the desk and began to pour shots for the 2 of us.
On the rocks, please.
For the
Sure.
table, this having a bottle of whiskey like this is even more rare because we are in the heart of Prohibition.
Oh, right.
So, like,
Prohibition,
having
that's right.
whiskey of any kind is very rare unless it's in, like, a speakeasy type thing. So you either have connections
I forgot about
or
that
you're
shit.
brewing it yourself.
Okay, cool. I just give it a whiff, and it just, like, makes all the hairs on my body stand up.
Doc.
Well,
Oh, good.
I was going to say, well, thank you, and I just take a bite of my sandwich. What would you like to share?
She cuts 2 cigars. She puts one down by you, and she lights one for herself and takes a few puffs. I want to get to know you, Doc, because you're telling me you're the most important person that I have to keep alive. Now listen, I get it. I'm a fucking asshole. But assholes like me are the reason why people like you get to live. So why do you deserve to live?
Well, to be completely transparent, I value my sense of life here on this world and do not wish for it to end. And it's as simple as that.
She, right to say that, she, reaches behind her and she, kind of sets a sawed-off shotgun on the table and she just kind of looks you in the eyes and
Jesus
goes,
Christ.
"That's great. You're another fucking ant that wants to fucking live. My question is, why are you the person I should keep alive the most in this group?"
I wasn't of the right mind. I am not so selfish potential. I mean, Archibald, he's kind of annoying, but I like his whole catchphrase. And Violet is rude, but she is reading and writing books, which is a good thing. Look, it's one for all and all for one. Am I right?
See, you one of those motherfuckers that where I'm being chased by something that's, I don't know, easily 40 feet behind me and I'm about 20 feet away from you and you close the door before I even get there because of the safety of the group, right?
Yes.
Alright. And she kind of stands up and she doesn't even touch her sandwich. She'd be like, "You enjoy that bottle." She just leaves.
Okay. Well, it's been nice, and I take another bite of the sandwich.
And then she's gonna spend most of her time in the boxing gym that one of her friends owns.
Okay, are you working on improving boxing? I assume, based off of this, that you're probably...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and give me a boxing roll.
Oh, first roll of the game ever.
What do I roll?
So you have to roll a
D100?
D100, and you have to roll lower than the number that you have as your skill.
Okay. Okay.
And there's tiers if it's, yeah.
So I'll just roll two 10s then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. $59.
What's your boxing skill?
Looking at
Boxing.
yours, I think you meant to throw the 90 in boxing versus brawl.
Oh yeah, yes I did.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
let me fix
that's
that.
a standard success. So you're on your way on improving boxing. Really, the limiting factor for you at the moment is you're already super proficient at boxing. So it'll take you some more months to kind of refine any new techniques or fighting stances to take this to the next level. Is there anything else you're wanting to do, Carmilla?
She'll probably just take some of the jobs from the family. And she'll probably spend her time training in the boxing gym when she's not doing jobs. And just getting herself ready for this next mission. So she'll probably be loading up on arms too.
Dude, we got some Rocky action, like fucking punching like pig corpses in the freezer.
Wise guy, thank you, Clarissa. I like that. Wise guy, thank you.
Go ahead and give me a. Let's see what role lines up with your profession.
Also, Clarissa has been helping us keep in the right timeline so we don't make references to things that don't exist yet.
Like the CIA.
Yeah.
I thought that was even
reference.
funnier after the fact. It's like you guys just made up some random ass letters trying to convince this poor farmer that you work for this organization that they've never heard of. So give me what would you say you focus on most while you're on these jobs? Is it the fighting aspect, firearms?
She's the bruiser. She's the person that makes sure shit's done safely and no one tries to cross anybody.
Okay, so we're gonna go with intimidate roll. This is gonna determine like if you get any credit rating increases.
Sure. Do I roll another 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just want it lower than whatever your intimidate is.
Oh.
Is it a low roll that she needs?
I got a 3 for 30, and then I got the 0 mark.
So it's just 30.
So
no,
30.
You got 0 on one of the die.
Oh, no, that's 3.
That's 3. That's
so I got 30 for the first one, so 3, 0, 30. And then I rolled again, and I got the crit symbol for the one d10.
So just a 30. Yeah.
Yeah, so 30.
Yeah, so I'm showing a 20 on your intimidate. So
close.
Nothing bad happens. It just means that you're operating at your standard level as a bruiser, bouncer sort of personality. So your credit rating is going to remain where it currently is.
Okay, and so do I need to roll like higher or lower?
You want to roll the same value in those boxes or lower. So the first box next to it is...
Tell her about the tiers, yeah.
Yeah, so the first box is a regular success. So that's like normal, what you would expect. The second box, which is half of your score, is called a hard success. This is like you took it up to another level. So like, think of it as like if you're trying to jump, the regular success is like you just jump a normal amount. The hard success is like now you're pushing it like Olympic level sort of thing. Extreme success is like peak human physical in that sort of skill, which is the 1/5 score.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
You just have to roll that number or lower.
So it's like the opposite of normal for like D&D. So like the best roll you can get is a 0-1.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool.
All right, so is there anything else? We've talked about your employment, your training, any just RP sort of things that you want to do during this time frame?
If anyone wants, there's no bars in this area, is there? Besides her contacts.
Nope. Like I said, it's going to be limited to any sort of speakeasies at the moment, just because heart of prohibition.
There'll be sometimes that she'll hang in the main office where we all met. So if anyone shows up there when she is, then I'll be ready to roleplay.
Okay.
Perfect. Gillis, ball's in your court now.
Okay, like I was saying before, I'm probably going to spend like the first 3 or 4 days on this really big binge to help sort of cope with everything. But eventually I kind of come to my senses slightly. Enough for me to realize that the thing that I need most is to rely on the things I like to do for fun. So I'm going to take like the first like week or so to take tasteful pictures of the facility here in PICA in Arkham, and just kind of like try to capture the essence of the sort of secretive nature of the place. Obviously not getting any shots of like compromising type of things, but and I know that Archibald said that he wanted to talk at some point, so I'll wait till his go around for us to have that moment.
Okay. On the photography, were you looking at that as like training in the skill, or is that your key connection, trying to regain some sanity?
Can it be both?
We could roll it as both, yeah.
Is that traditionally how it works?
This would be my first time, so I'm not... If it's related to your backstory stuff, which we haven't filled in since we recreated your character.
What I'm going to do, I'm just going to work on photography as a skill.
Okay.
And then the next week in my downtime, I'll take like almost a whole week to rewrite a letter like 4 or 5 times to Amelia. I don't remember her last name, but she's like kind of like my white buffalo, sort of like the one who got away. And this is this is going to be a letter in a series of letters I've been writing over the course of
like the Notebook,
a handful of years. You know what I mean? So like this, I'm going to use that, like the connection I desire for her to be my key connection.
Yeah. So we'll say it's kind of cathartic for Gillis to, even if he doesn't ever send any of these letters, just writing out his feelings and those types of things for Amelia.
Oh, sorry, no, I meant to say that I do send them, but I don't hear back.
Oh, okay.
I'm just hopeful that it will happen one day. You know what I'm saying?
In either case, it's cathartic. Like just doing this always kind of like re-centers him.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a sanity roll.
And that's just a D100, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wanting to roll under it?
Yep. It's normal sanity roll.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So... Oh, god damn it, that bounced out. Oh, fuck, dude. I rolled... Oh, no, that's good. That's a 16.
Okay. Is that...
No, I have to
That's
roll
just a
a
regular success? Got it. In either case, it doesn't matter too much. Go ahead and roll a d6 and add that to your current sanity.
6, which tops me off.
Perfect. So Gillis is feeling a little bit better. If anything, he feels like he's kind of over the encounter that they've, or at least by the end of this month period, he feels like he's over what they encountered and is ready to like move forward. For your photography, go ahead and give me a photography roll real quick.
Oh boy. 25 is the goal, everybody. Nope, it's a 64, which is a fail.
So there's no...
Right.
Yeah, so like you're practicing. Obviously, there's plenty of room for improvement. It's one of those, as you're reviewing the pictures after the fact, and 1920s, I want to stay, there's still kind of like the black light, like black room.
Red room.
Yeah. Once you're kind of like looking at him after the fact, you're like, well, I could have used a little bit different angle here, some better lighting. So you're on your way to kind of developing these new techniques. It might help you next time to like find a professional photographer to kind of like show you the ropes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe meta-wise, this would maybe give you a bonus die whenever you're making these attempts on the rolls.
Okay.
But other than that, that would cover your training and your sanity. Is there anything else you're wanting to do?
So for a long time, I refused to eat a Philly cheesesteak because although Gilus Hornbyll falls in the middle class sector, he grew up in wealth, so he doesn't think of himself in that sort of way. He thinks of anyways. I refused to eat a Philly cheesesteak for like such a long time because it didn't seem like tooth. Is that the right word of me? Is that the right word? Anyways, but ever since Carmila and I was kind of in a funk, ever since I had it, I can't get enough. So I'll just like for like what's that?
I see it was a premium one too, like the finest fucking roast steak, actual steak pieces in there and everything.
Yeah, so for like 3 nights in a row the following week, I'll just have that for dinner. And that's it for me.
Did you want to work on anything aside from the one you had with Carmila? Are you doing any more therapy sessions during this time frame?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Outside of talking with Archibald, I decided not to work and just to focus on like things I like.
And we'll say that you have someone. Is it just you at your practice, or do you have other people?
Excuse me?
Do you have other people at your practice, or is it just you? Basically, I'm just determining whether or not you're going to take any negative impact for a prolonged period of not doing your job.
Yeah, it's just me.
Okay. So, no impact at the moment, since it's only been about a month of not doing your practice. But it's one of those, if you keep... Yeah, you know, the longer you go, the tighter your funds are going to get, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Carmila, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, and a reminder for everybody else. You can go higher than your starting sanity. So the starting sanity box will always stay whatever your starting one was. But if you want to go higher, you can use these developmental phases to increase your sanity past your starting.
That's relevant to me because mine would be more than if that's the case.
So you guys can go as high as 99 as your current, or 99 minus your Cthulhu Mythos. But you just don't touch the starting, you change your current. But your current can always go higher than your starting.
Mine went up too.
Cool. So, well, we'll move over to Archibald, but Carmila, at the end, if you wanted to do anything towards sanity, you're more than welcome to touch that when we circle back. But Archibald, what are you doing during this time frame?
Archibald would probably maybe see if there's like any side gigs that he can rustle up as a private investigator, and try to kind of like take it easy on himself. He definitely wants to do something to like regain some of his sanity. I do say at one point during that month he would just kind of like burst in on Dr. Gilus's practice to have a chat with him.
Perfect. I guess, which one would you like to tackle first? And we'll kind of just go down the line of...
Yeah, let's see if he can get any like side gigs as a private investigator.
So it's one of those, I think you set up yourself in Arkham, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you have an advertisement out. You get different ones in at any given time. So you've got a handful of kind of like requests for things. We'll say either, I'm thinking track, or maybe let's see, either track, spot hidden,
maybe?
or
listen could technically be one.
Yeah, I would say any of those ones where it's related to like perception or tracking someone down. Give me one of those to kind of determine how well it goes as your profession during this time frame.
Okay, we'll go with we'll do spot hidden.
And just let me know if it's
Ooh.
regular, hard, or critical, or just a fail.
That's a fail. I rolled a 54 on spot hidden.
But not too
Damn.
bad. So it's one of those like you're able to kind of get back in the gig. You've got notes on a couple of the different projects, and you were able to tackle one of the easier ones where it was literally like one of their kids had went missing, but it was one of those the kid was like trying to run away and didn't really fully commit, so you're able to kind of like find out.
Was just hiding under a bridge or something.
You know, it's like a couple blocks away from the house. Like they didn't even really go anywhere.
Didn't really think it through.
So like you're able to kind of like keep the lights on running at like the normal private investigator sort of threshold. So unfortunately, no increase in your credit rating at this time, but you're maintaining your lifestyle.
Okay, perfect.
And then you said you wanted to work on some regaining sanity.
Yeah.
Which approach are you going? You going with the using a backstory element to kind of like recenter yourself, or are you wanting to meet with someone to do the psychoanalysis?
He would love to meet with someone.
Okay. Are you meeting with Gilus, or are you wanting to use one of the PICA members?
Yeah, let's just say that he's gonna go to Dr. Gillis.
Perfect. We'll let you guys RP this out. At the end of the RP, you'll roll a D100 versus Gillis's psychoanalysis, which should be beneficial because I think he's up to like 77, but...
Yeah.
Watch me roll a 90.
Right.
So, Gillis...
Also, just to clarify, as far as me being in Arkham, technically I have to drive back to New York, but I'm just gonna exclusively work out of PICA, just to make it easy.
Okay. So, Gillis, Archibald is gonna just like come crashing in through your practice door a lot like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh my god. That before you said Kramer, I imagined Kramer.
And so he just comes sliding in through the door and statues himself, closes the door, walks in, and she's like, "What up, Doc?"
God, between you and Carmila, I'm going to have to really be on my toes.
Well, bye, man. Take a seat. Get off them toes.
Yes, but here's to you. I grabbed the 2 glasses that Carmila had gifted me, and I sort of like lowbrow, like, you know, I pull out an illegal substance and try to play it off as like, you know, I'm trying to be cool. Anyways, and I'll pour us each a glass of what was it, whiskey?
Yes, premium whiskey.
Yeah. It's good, but definitely a sipper. And I just slide the glass over the desk.
And just for like sake of orientation inside of your practice, like do you have like a couch?
I was just about to ask. GM, what does this room look like?
Because of it being primarily for psychoanalysis, so this is like, we'll say, second floor of PICA. It looks more like the Sigmund Freud sort of thing, where it's got like the recorder and like
the long couch.
Yeah, so like it's designed
Cool.
for these types of things for people to work through their trauma.
Gotcha.
So Archibald he'll grab the glass and be like, "Thanks," and he's just gonna slug it straight back.
Oh.
Whole glass, and he kind of
I
just
sit
like
politely with my pinky up in the air.
he looks at the like couch and he just like kind of leaps into the air and falls flat on his back onto it, like he's ready to start a session.
Oh dear. I appreciate your enthusiasm. What would it be that you'd like to discuss? As I quickly transition almost seamlessly into like a very like different persona that hasn't been presented to you yet, and whether that's off-putting or not, I kind of pull out my own notepad that is similar in size and begin to sort of like prepare myself to take notes if need be as I inquisitively look deep into your eyes.
Well, it seems in the short time that we've known each other, you and I have been through some shit.
I think that puts it lightly.
I'm not gonna lie, Doc. This is beyond anything that I've ever seen or experienced. You remember when I told you when my grandfather died, correct?
I recall.
I thought that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. But now,
I start writing.
now I know there's scarier.
And how does that make you feel?
Scared, Doc.
Yes. Now, Archibald, I want you to look up to the ceiling.
He does so as he kind of like grabs one of the throw pillows and like hugs it to his chest.
I take more notes. Now, I want you to close your eyes.
He closes them.
I want you to sit with that fear. What about it scares you?
As he kind of like squints his eyes a little bit, kind of like scrunching up his face. It's the unknown. The fact that there are things far more darker and sinister than I ever imagined. And I don't want to be in that darkness.
Yes, Archibald, I believe I know exactly how you feel. Unfortunately, I'm not well versed in these sorts of things. I do know ways to help cope, but I will not lie. It's hard. I've seen things. We've seen things that no one ever should. And I don't think I'm ever going to be the same. And that makes me scared.
And like at this time, Archibald, like he sits up and looks at you. Gail is still clutching the throw pillow. You didn't believe before all of this. So let me ask you. Do you believe?
Yes, and that's what truly terrifies me. As I take a large gulp of the whiskey. I kind of put down the notepad and the pen and sort of stand up and kind of sort of pace back and forth. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to help, but I'm here and I am knowledgeable. So GM, I don't know if you want me to go through this whole thing or if we could just be yeah, we spend an hour and a half really getting into it.
I was going to say, I was going to let you guys go as long as you wanted to on there, so I think you've covered the bases. So, yeah, we'll say a normal, hour and a half, 90-minute therapy session occurs where you guys you try and work through what little bit of trauma, well, I say a little bit, but the trauma that's on Archibald's chest here.
And to be honest, it kind of helps me as well because we're kind of both going through it.
So Archibald, roll the D100. We're gonna go against Gillis's psychoanalysis. value, so that should help.
It's his psychoanalysis is actually 70.
It'd be a 68.
Wow.
So it was rough because it's one of those like outside of Gillis's normal therapy where like he's in control the whole time. Because up until this point he was a fervent non-believer, so like whenever they're giving him these bereavements, oh I saw this ghost or whatever, like it was easy for him to pass it off of like it's just trauma and work through it, kind of like clinically. This one,
Right.
while still successful, it's one of those Gillis is trying to work through the same trauma at the same time. But go ahead and give me a D3 roll. So just roll the D6, divide it in half, and that'll be how much sanity you gain off of this.
Wait, what am I rolling?
It's a
D6,
D3,
and then
so
right.
the easiest would be a D6 and then divide it in half.
3.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll call that a 2.
So, and I gained that insanity, right?
All right.
I just want to say, like, as we finish up our session, Archibald would just kind of like pat you on the shoulder, Gillius, and say, "Well, thank you for talking to me." And he kind of pulls out his notebook. He's like, "Unfortunately, I have to go. I'm currently following somebody's husband. She thinks he's cheating on her with his secretary, but to be quite honest, if I was married to her, I'd probably cheat on her with the secretary too." And he kind of like waggles his eyebrows at you.
Oh my god! Right as you go for the door, I say, Archibald. And I reach into my my coat pocket. You forgot your badge, and I just do this to you.
That's perfect. Oh god.
And he's gonna like kind of like reach out to like act like he's taking it from you and just kind of pull back, "Thank you," and he tucks it in his coat pocket.
Yeah, I just give you like a very like soldier, like militaristic head nod.
Archibald, is there anything else you want to do? So we've covered working on your profession, covered healing some sanity. Is there any training you want to do? So these can be any personal hobbies, like if you want to do some arts and craft, like violin or photography is what Gillis did, or you're wanting to work on some skills that are relevant to your profession. You're more than welcome to do that.
Like Carmila.
Yeah, he would probably work on like being able to develop his film a little bit better when he takes pictures.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Like, I mean, and like obviously, like if he's working as a PI and he's following stuff around, he's probably taking pictures anyways. But he's good when he's developing that film. He's gonna pay a little bit more like focus. Maybe his developing skills weren't like super great, and sometimes they'd come out like blurry or splotched. So.
Okay, go ahead and give me a photography roll real quick.
What do you need to beat?
What would photography be under?
Arts and crafts, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, yeah. Ooh. Oh, no, my photography's 60 on photography.
Oh, nice.
Okay, not too bad.
Are you fucking shitting me, Archibald?
No, he is not.
I rolled a 66.
Oh shit.
Kind of like we covered with.
Wait, no, that's good, isn't it?
He rolled a 66. He needed a 60 or lower, right?
Oh, I thought this was the whole skill thing he was trying to improve. Wasn't that not?
This is him training. So you guys.
My bad.
So,
Misunderstood.
well, once again, it's kind of similar to like Gillis with his photos. In your case, it's where you're working on the developmental side of the pictures, trying to make sure they come out super clean, easy to kind of like key into the key aspects of the photo, and it's taken a little bit of work, kind of similar to him. You're kind of coming to the conclusion that maybe meeting with a professional photographer might help you kind of like refine this part of the process so that you can continue to improve. All
Okay.
right.
Okay. And he'll just kind of like take note of that for future.
All right, Violet. What are you wanting to do during this time frame?
So Violet is actually going to start writing a new book about everything that we had dealt with at the farmhouse.
In what kind of
Perfect.
perspective? Like autobiographical, whatever the word is, or what? Is that the right word? I don't know.
I don't know what you're trying to ask.
I don't know books. Who reads those things? Not me.
I do.
I just did.
Okay, perfect.
No, it'll probably be like a nonfiction is probably what it would be.
You're going to label it as nonfiction. Other people might consider it fiction, sort of thing, because they don't want to believe.
I mean,
Right, right. I love that.
Go ahead and give me a literature roll.
What do you need to be?
75.
Oh my god, good luck.
oh, thanks. I appreciate your vote of confidence there.
That's just a high number.
That was a 60.
So
Shit.
no, that's exactly what she needed.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so that's
I keep
a
thinking about
success.
this in the wrong way.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, you got it flipped. We're not doing what's the word I'm looking
The
for?
developmental.
It's the skill improvement right now. This is training. So she trained in literature.
Yeah, sorry. I keep getting it all fucked up.
So yeah, you're right on the. You're proficient with writing books. I mean, you've been doing it for years at this point, especially with the inspiration from Kimball, your cousin. His support really kind of motivated you, especially writing things that no one else really wanted to believe in. So for you, there's no fear of this ever failing, just because in your mind you know that even if you label it as nonfiction and other people don't believe it to be truly nonfiction, as long as it's written well, it'll still sell. They just might move it from one section of the library to a different. So you're right on track for that 4 months sort of being able to improve in literature. Was this also working towards working on some sanity? I'm trying to remember what stuff we got towards your backstory at the moment.
I have no idea.
Oh, actually, I don't have much.
Or I mean, you could think of a way that, like, you could do something or whatever to lower your lower your sanity.
Because it wasn't too important until after I got into the details with the core rulebook. If there's a key or any backstory elements that you haven't already written on your character sheet that you're wanting to play into to increase the sanity, you could have a session with Gillis or another PICA member as well. You don't get quite as much sanity improvement from that, but I don't think you took too much sanity damage from the encounter as the other folks did. So kind of, if you want to, you also don't have to do anything with that. There's also the options to, we'll count that as a success in your profession as well, since writing books. So like, once again, with a regular success, it's kind of, you're maintaining your normal flow. So at the moment, no credit improvement, but you're kind of right on the cusp of. Actually, I might have actually had written this down different. Actually, give me a 1d10 with that regular success in literature for your credit rating as well.
That's a 9.
Perfect. So go ahead and add that 9 to your current credit rating. This book is
Wow.
right on track to
Damn.
be a bestseller.
Dude, fuck
Hell yeah.
Nice. Hold on.
Where
What's it called?
where am I putting that?
What's the title? I wanna hear
Your
it.
your credit rating.
Okay.
What's it at now?
Trying to figure that out.
It's like on the left column. I'm pretty
49.
sure.
So
Like,
she's on the cusp of being wealthy.
holy shit. And here, all this time, Gillis has been thinking that you're some sort of like, you know, like not this successful. I'll just put it like that.
He thinks you're an NPC.
Whoa. Gillis, we're gonna have words.
Yeah. What's the title of this book, Violet?
It's a working title. I haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, okay. I like your little dodge around there.
Take the actual title of the campaign session, Edge of Darkness.
There you go.
Edging of darkness. What?
That's a little something different, I think.
Depends on the person.
It's a
Wagga.
it's a mature title now.
50 Shades of Grey, more like 50 Shades of Eldritch Horror.
God.
A little bit more tentacles than 50 Shades of Grey. Is there anything else you're wanting to do during this time frame? We were just talking about sanity increases. So if there's a backstory element that you're wanting to relate to, we could.
Or like something that can ground you.
Yeah. So like, I don't know.
Oh,
I know reading is kind of like the main thing for you. So like, spending some time reading that would kind of play into it. Any other major connections that you have that could work towards it, or like I said, the psychoanalysis on the table as well as an option.
no, I
Or you
think
don't
I'm
have to at all.
good for right now. Yeah, I think I'm good for right now.
Okay, perfect. Before kind of regrouping with Reginald, Carmilla, was there any sanity sort of improvement things that you wanted to do? Since I think you were fine with just being at your current level, but I don't know if you knew you were able to go higher than you're starting.
I mean, you might as well, right? Dre, are you there?
I'm here, sorry.
Did you want to do any sanity improvement stuff?
What would be like sanity improvement stuff?
So you could do the therapy stuff, which I think at least with Gills is probably off the table, or any key backstory stuff. So like partaking in. I'd have to look at your character sheet again for a good example for you specifically, but maybe like for Gillis, it was writing letters to the white buffalo, Amelia.
Yeah, my
that
lost
was his
lover.
therapeutic thing to kind of like recenter him and increase his sanity. It's something you don't have to do. I just wanted to give you the option since not everybody was aware they could go higher than their starting sanity.
I mean, you
What-
might as well, though, right? Because
Yeah,
the more
what
the
about-
better.
What about maybe staying at a what'd you call it? A speakeasy place?
Yeah, if that's a
Would that
key
help with
aspect.
sanity?
Yeah, if that's a key element of your backstory.
Yeah, like
Background
maybe it's
stuff.
a special bar or something.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me a sanity roll. You need a
Okay.
success to be able to increase.
Hey, GM, what's this speakeasy called?
Well, we'll go with dark water. Since we're kind of Arkham is on like the river there. Because if you remember, PICA is right on the
Yes.
river, so it has boat access. So dark water is one kind of like in the downtown part of Arkham. It's a what's a like a fishery is the front for it.
Gotcha.
So it's like right off the water, and you go in where the fish are all like kind of processed, and then it's in the basement of that.
I got a 23.
Oh, just barely passing, right? Because you're what, 25?
Yep.
Go ahead and roll
Wow.
a 1d6 and add that to your current sanity.
Speak easy than dice, yo. Got a 4. Cool.
Okay, nice. Moving on up. All right. As we come to the close of the month here, everybody's kind of made some progress towards like recuperating from the encounter with the Jinn. For Carmilla, there's a little bit of chance to at least get to know Gilus. Based off of the encounter, it might be a little rocky, but you guys all reconvene with Reginald, who has some updates for you.
Oh boy.
As you come into the office, like you've become accustomed to, he's got his mahogany desk and a few of the leather chairs around. Good afternoon, everybody. Go ahead, please take a seat.
Got coffee, and then she just kind of sits down.
I'm sure I could have Lucille bring some in. Lucille, at least one coffee. Anybody else? Archibald?
Yes, please. 2 sugars.
One
Camille
for
looks at you.
Gillis as well. 2 sugars. Any for you, Archibald or Violet?
Just black.
Archibald will also just take a black coffee.
And 2 black coffees.
Violet would just like some hot chocolate.
And
I love that. Yes.
1 hot chocolate, please. And there's a little bit of smirk on Reginald's face. Well, the sarcophagus, our good friends, William, up in Boston, was able to translate the Mu hieroglyphics on the inside of it, and as I read this out loud, I feel it's going to be a little more unsettling than just reading it on paper, but it roughly translates to: within lies the 4 heralds of Al-Amar. When all 4 have been released, Al-Amar shall enter onto our world. May his infernal light guide us. So if you guys recall, there was 4 of those ambers in the sarcophagus, and by the time our friend Mary and Allen got a hold of it, only 1 remained.
So we're just looking for 1.
There's 3 unaccounted for.
Mm.
Can you read that translation one more time? Al-Amar, you said?
Yes, Gillis. It reads, within lies the 4 heralds of Al-Amar. It's Al-Ahmar.
Hamar. Oh, okay.
It's you may not be familiar, but Jinn typically are an Arabic folklore entity, so most of their naming conventions derive from an Arabic foundation. It then reads, when all 4 have been released, Al-Hamar shall enter onto our world. May his infernal light guide us. It seems to me these probably cultists of Mu were looking to release all 4 of these and bring this arch-Jinn into our world. I don't have the particulars on whether or not what Mary and Allen and the Dark Brotherhood did counts as releasing one of them or not. While you banished him, is it they only need to be released once? It's going to take more research to know anything particular. What I recommend, and I will start working on setting up an appointment for you guys up in Boston, or New York. I think his uncle has now moved there. Mary and Alan got the sarcophagus from his uncle, who now has what remains of his possessions after his murder. And I will start reaching out to him. Before that, though, I wanted you to know Rupert Merriweather ended up passing very shortly after you guys had went out to the house. So, based off of his convictions that the entity was going to be released upon his death, it seems like you guys got there just in the nick of time. He'll then turn to you. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, I just let out a large exhale of just realization.
Yes, it's very sad. Luckily for us, Rupert was kind enough to leave us the farmhouse for any uses that we deem fit, as well as a considerable sum of his remaining wealth was donated to PICA to help continue funding our organization. Violet, I just recently got a call from a Thomas Kimball out in Arnoldsburg, Michigan. I believe they're cousins to you.
That is correct.
Apparently, Douglas has been missing for quite some time. Thomas has now inherited his house. What's concerning, though, is apparently there was a recent break-in, and several of Douglas's books have been stolen, but there is no evidence of how they got in or got out. Seeing as he knew that you worked for the organization, he's requested that you guys, or you specifically, come out. I'm happy to send the whole team if you'd like to investigate what's going on, based off of your connection with Douglas. I would recommend taking this while I set up the connection in Boston. I can phone out there to Michigan once I have a meeting set with Mary and Alan's uncle. That way you guys can head straight there after.
Who's this Douglas character again?
For Violet specifically, this is the cousin that encouraged her to become an author. So a lot of her family wasn't very supportive of her becoming an author. He was the one that did.
Oh shit, so this is like a family problem. Okay, sorry. I was just putting that together. I just looked over at Violet, and I don't necessarily have any objections. I'm sure you may be eager to look into this, it seems.
Yes, I would like to look into it and see what has happened.
Well, by all means. And I kind of like adjust my monocle.
As always, feel free to call back if you need any assistance. The way it sounded, this may be something a little bit more mundane. It's a simple burglary. But your guys' skills as investigators should prove invaluable to Thomas. He has also said that he would cover any expenses of heading out there, so there's no need to worry. If you need to stock up with anything prior to heading out, feel free to use the armory or any other supplies before heading out.
So let's see here. Man, I think, what kind of, do they have, like, lengths of rope? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, assume they have any sort of, like, normal investigation adventure gear. So, like, last time you guys took, like, flashlights.
What about chains?
Yeah, you guys took some manacles last time, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, specifically chains, though.
Like a gold chain so you can walk around Arnoldsburg.
No, like
a
I
thug.
mean, like a length,
Yeah,
maybe like 20 feet length of chain. I don't know how. Am I
Yeah,
choosing-
for
am I
tying
using the
up
wrong
or
word?
like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have
Training.
some. Yeah, like unless you're
Sure.
trying to get something super extravagant, expect them to have it. So like, if you're specifically wanting a Tommy gun, that might be a little bit out of their capacity. But if you want a standard handgun like Archibald took last time, that would be well within their bounds to have on hand.
Fuck, I'm not good with guns
You don't.
at all.
I'm not saying you need to take a gun or anything
I
like
know.
that.
I just.
As Carmila's just sipping on her Irish coffee.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking out loud here, and I'll just say I've just been like saying things out loud that I think we might need for our next deadly encounter.
Yeah, so we'll go down the list. Gillis, or I guess Carmilla, you had mentioned that you wanted a couple weapons. Let me see if I can find my weapon stat blocks to have you fill in there.
Brass knuckles, combat knife, sawed-off shotgun, and handgun.
Cool. Dude, that's so fucking brass knuckles.
Hell yeah!
Archibald
I love
feels the pistol sitting in his jacket pocket and feels very like inadequate now.
Carmela does it to people. As she's like pouring more whiskey from her flask into her coffee, we're taking a few sips.
You see the expression on Archibald's face just change to like depravity as he realizes that he's no longer the person here with the biggest balls.
Oh, man.
I gotta open the door. Be right back. 1 second.
Perfect. Archibald, you already have the stat block for your handgun, yes?
Yes, handgun I have was just like based on. It looks like it was based off of my firearms handgun stat, and then damage for just the handgun was 1d10.
Perfect. And then, while we're waiting, Gillis, was there anything else you were wanting to take?
Let's say maybe like two bundles of rope that come out to be about 50 feet in length, and
Okay.
maybe like a 10-foot chain. I also just now thought that it might be good to like maybe pick up like some circular mirrors that could like fit in your pocket, just as a way to like as a signaling type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Or like see around corners or something.
Yeah. I already
What do you mean
have-
I earned an hour towards my stand goal? I've been sitting.
Stupid.
Outside of that, I think, you know, actually, I think that's it.
Okay.
Maybe more batteries,
Perfect.
just in case.
Carmilla, for your brass knuckles, it's going to be based off of your
Uh-huh.
fighting brawl skill when you roll for it.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'll go to where's equipment? I know I saw something. For
Weapons will be at the
equipment. Okay,
bottom
weapons.
of first page.
Brass knuckle, and it'll be my brawl skill.
Yep.
Okay.
Your damage is going to be 1d3 plus 1 plus your damage bonus.
I feel like that's exactly the same as my fist.
Your fist should just be 1d3 plus damage bonus. So like the brass knuckles are
Oh,
bumping up
okay.
by 1. You said what was the other one you wanted? It was a
combat knife.
like switchblade. So the options I've got are carving knife or switchblade.
I guess carving knife.
Okay. It's also going to be off your brawl skill. This one's going to be a 1d4 plus 2 plus damage bonus.
Wait, sorry, repeat that again.
1d4 plus 2 plus your damage bonus.
4 plus 2 plus my damage bonus, and what was the skill?
Your brawl.
Brawl again.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then you wanted.
Carving knife.
Was it a handgun? Or
Sawed-off shotgun and a handgun.
Okay. sawed off is going to be your firearm shotgun skill. So if you haven't specifically put into shotgun, it's going to be the standard firearm base, which I think is a 20%.
It's so firearms rifle / shotgun is 25%.
Perfect. That's going to be your skill for this one, and it's going to be 46 if it's within 5 yards, or 1d6 if it's 10 yards.
Cool.
46. Okay.
That's cool, man. That's fucking.
Hell yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
Okay. Yeah.
Depending on what you're shooting at.
So,
Right.
And with the sawed-off shotgun, because it's 2 barrels, I get 2 shots, right?
Unless it's a pump action.
Yeah, how does that work, GM?
It's an old-fashioned sawed-off shotgun with 2 triggers.
It depends on
They
how
have
many shots she
actions
fires
in
at a
place.
time, right? So if she fires one that kills an enemy, and then she doesn't fire again until like another encounter, but hasn't reloaded, then she only has 1 in. She could fire up to 2 per round, but it depends on how she's applying each round.
And then let me go to my notes. So, because it won't let me put it in damage. Sawed-off shotgun. What was the range again? Yeah.
Its base range is either 5 or 10 yards, but damage is variable based off of how far you're firing.
Okay, so at 5 yards it's 46.
Mm-hmm.
At 10 yards is 1d6.
Yep.
Okay. And then the handgun.
Is there a specific type of handgun you're looking for?
What handgun options are there?
A lot.
I'm thinking like a Magnum type of handgun, like a hefty handgun.
Perfect.
Like it has its own balls.
Yeah, so this would be a .357 Magnum revolver.
7.3.
.357.
You should drop a picture of that.
0.357.
What?
You should drop a picture of that.
This is going to be based off the handgun firearms.
Okay.
Oh, of what I'm looking at?
Oh, like the gun, yeah.
If it starts at 20% and I add 50 points to it, is it like 70%?
If it was during the skill allotment, it's just a straight 50.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the adding is only after your initial character creation.
Okay.
Your damage is going to be 1d8 plus 1d4. Your range is 15 yards.
Cool.
And this is going to be 1 per round. Because it's a revolver, so you're going to get 1 shot per round. But you'll have 6 bullets per mag.
Okay, cool.
All right. Archibald, what were you wanting to take? Or did I already do yours? I can't remember. I know Violet still needs to do hers.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I was just dumping in a picture of a accurate 1920s sawed-off shotgun. Those are pretty badass.
That's exactly what she's got. It's basically like it's in a holster that's like behind her waist, so it's sideways on her waist, basically.
But I was kind of comparing the different because
cool.
I'm like the pump action was made in like the 1890s, so it's like you could have a pump action. So I was looking at the difference between the two. I'm like, no, this one looks so much more badass.
Hell yeah, it does. Point blank.
Wow.
But Archibald would, restock up on ammo for his handgun, even though I think only like maybe 2 or 3 shots have been fired so far. He's gonna stock up a bit. But he also is looking for maybe things more like occultish he think would help, like a crucifix or some holy water.
Perfect. You should still have some from the last encounter, because if I recall correctly, you'd stocked up on those before heading out.
I did get some holy water. That's right. We got the holy water and flashlights, plus batteries.
Yep. So yep, you definitely have some. Once again, with the holy water and the crucifix, based off of what you've known of PICA, is it's all based on theory and like what little bit of folklore the organization has brought in. Not a whole lot of investigators have used any of these in practice. Um, so you have a relative idea of like when you would use a crucifix or holy water, but whether or not people have actually encountered vampires or any of the other things that would be affected by these and been successful is shady at best.
Right, and that kind of goes along with like Archibald's like mindset in it, because he's thinking like if something comes after him, like power of Christ compels you.
Perfect. All right, Violet.
That's all Archibald would take.
Cool. All right, Violet. Is there anything in particular you're wanting to take with you?
No, I just want to make sure I have like a notebook and something to write with. That way I can take notes. That way I can have all my notes from our next adventure for another book.
That's cool.
Perfect. All right. As you guys have stocked up, the trip out to Arnold'sburg, Michigan.
I have one quick question.
Go ahead.
Does PICA pay for the DAS as well by chance?
Yeah.
Like a DAS card?
So in this particular instance, Thomas Kimball is going to be covering expenses.
Oh, okay.
PICA's giving you an allotment to kind of like get out there, but they're going to get reimbursed by Thomas for sending a team.
Gotcha.
The trip out to Arnold'sburg takes a little bit more time, a couple weeks, because you're going from Massachusetts out to Michigan.
Oh shit! So we got a road trip on our hands.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do anything RP-wise on the road trip, I'm assuming everybody hopped into Gilus's Model T. It looked like there was enough room to sit for.
Carmila takes shotgun.
Yeah. We can like rotate, because I'm definitely not going to want to drive for that longer. Are you kidding me? I the most driving I do is like just down the street. Like even going to Ross's Corner was like further than I've ever driven. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Archibald would 100% love to drive.
Perfect. Yeah. So you and I can swap halfway maybe.
I'll say that Carmila is unless someone speaks to her, she's just almost chain smoking.
Okay.
And taking sips from her flash as she just sits there looking out.
Are we taking the Model T?
Yes.
Well, good thing that it's it's openly ventilated.
Yeah.
She wouldn't care if it was.
I know she would.
So I did want to have a little conversation with Violet, but outside of that, yeah, I'm just like I said, halfway through the trip, I'll swap with Archibald so I can kind of take a chance and relax to take in the the scenery.
Perfect.
But like maybe like a couple days in. Actually, you know what? It will be after the halfway point. It will be one of the days where it's me and Violet sitting in the back. And I mean, I know we haven't like talked per se, but how open have you been about this recent book that you are like currently working on?
I mean, pretty open. It's not like you experienced it with me or anything.
Well, right. I just didn't know like how like transparent you were with like how far along you are in the process. Anyways, so I'll just kind of look over and just kind of without kind of like making eye contact, just kind of lean my head over and I say, I haven't actually read your work from cover to cover, but the stuff I've been reading over your shoulder for the last couple miles, it's riveting. It almost makes me remember exactly how it felt in the moment, which almost makes me hate it, but in a good way. Anyways, and I just kind of like start stumbling a little bit.
It's gonna look at you. because she's writing, for her book. She's going to hand you the book she's been reading. It's one of her books she's written before. She's like, here, you can read this. One of my other books I've done from other adventures I've had.
What is this one called?
That's for me to know if you're going to figure it out by reading the book.
That's what it says on the cover, too.
Yeah, or I was thinking it was just going to be
Make
blank.
your own
It's just
title
like
as you read it.
Okay. All right. Well, if I need to figure out the title, at least give me a clue about what it is about. Like, what am I going to be getting myself into with this?
That's
book?
why you read the back of the book. Scripture's on the back of the book.
I turn it around. Okay. All right. I'll stop pressuring you. All right. Well,
No. It's about ghosts and ghosts I've come across in one of my previous quest missions that I was sent on.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, I will be. Yes, I will read this. And once the conversation ends, I'll start cautiously reading the book. Gillis never was that big of a reader outside of his textbooks for his craft. And he's now realizing that he is a little bit of a wimp when it comes to this horror stuff. And once after a couple hours, you'll notice that Gillis is visibly nervous, and when he turns the page, there's a little bit of shake to his hand. But yeah.
Carmila, I guess after a little bit after they switch places, she's gonna look at Archibald and be like, "So what are you packing?"
Archibald nervously.
While you're driving.
He just kind of nervously glances at you as he just kind of reaches into his jacket pocket and just kind of flashes you the pistol and puts it back real quickly and goes back to driving.
What kind of pistol is it?
Just a regular revolver. Smith & Wesson revolver.
She pulls out her 357 Magnum compared to your gun and go, "This is a gun you need. Solid, American made. Put a fucking hole through anything that gets in your fucking way."
Are you doing a thing?
Yeah, I hate to kind of kill your thunder there, but the Magnum was invented in 1935.
Oh shit! It doesn't exist.
Oh.
Oh, it might have been in the modern section of that table. Just a sec.
GM
But,
has to
but still, looking at the size of this hand cannon that you just pulled out, he tries to go really quickly back to focusing on driving, and he starts just whistling a little tune, a little show tune. It kind of breaks his concentration for a second and goes, "So, why the big gun? Not bringing enough thunder from down under?"
It's funny. I was gonna say the same thing about the size of your balls, which is a tiny gun.
And it says, "Listen, it's not the size of the hammer that counts, it's the nail you're throwing it at."
Oh yeah, unless that nail can't make it in the hole. And she takes another drag of her cigarette.
So, educate me, sir, ma'am, person. What brought you here?
You know what? I think it's fitting. You can call me sir, and I'll call you miss.
Oh shit! God damn! Wow.
I was brought in to help you guys. I was told you needed muscle. Needed someone to make sure you people survive. And she looks over at the doctor behind for a second before she looks back. You
I
got
look
wise.
like a total pussy reading the
Yeah.
book in the back.
I'm gonna talk a little derogatory because it's the 1920s. You got a fucking fag in the back seat. He's only out for himself.
Well, is he staring at the road? We're kind of like giving you side eyes, like quick glances. I hate to be rude, but I don't recall asking for some help. I think we dispelled a June just fine without you.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll remember that kind of energy. Don't worry about it. She flicks a cigarette out the window.
And he like slyly like slugs you in the shoulder, like, man, like like he's trying to play it off like he was just joking.
She just looks at you and go. No, she doesn't even look at you. She looks straight ahead. She goes, "Ma'am."
And he gives like this awkward laugh of like, yeah, maybe if I'll just agree with you, you won't hurt me, as he goes back to driving.
She
You just let the bully give you a wedgie and just take it so he doesn't do something worse.
Exactly. It's gonna stop eventually.
she hands you her flask while she keeps looking forward. Put some hair on your chest.
It's like, this is something we can agree upon. As he opens up the flask and like he kind of like looks back at Galius to make sure that he's not watching, that he's about to just drink out of a flask while he's driving his Model T, and then quickly slugs it and hands it back to you.
People probably didn't really care about that late,
Probably
early
not.
in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Probably not.
Cars were just still brand new.
They didn't even
That
have
probably would have been
windshields.
fairly normal.
Yeah.
She'll take the flask back as she just kind of sits there quietly looking out the window.
And then the awkward silence commences to driving.
Mind you, we probably have to stop every hour or two, right? I mean, I don't know how long the Model T can run before we gotta whatever, but it's a process,
that's why I
I'm
was
sure.
kind of a couple weeks driving, just because it's probably only a 12-hour drive nowadays. With how often you're stopping and just the condition of the roads, it's going to take you probably about 2 weeks to get out that way.
And an internal combustion motor that has no liquid cooling system is not going to go that distance without needing to cool off.
Right.
But outside of that, the journey is nothing too crazy. You're taking what roads exist out that way. As you kind of pull up into Arnoldsburg, it's a pretty sizable town. It's bigger than Ross's Corners, not quite the level of Arkham or New York during this time period, so it's not super heavily populated. But it's got its own. It's not like Ross's Corner where it's a one-stop general store for everything in town. There's different buildings for all these things. The only real difference here as far as setting up is Thomas Kimball's house, or what used to be Douglas Kimball's house, is actually a little bit away from most of the other residences in the area. It's up closer to the cemetery. I'm dropping a map to kind of highlight where stuff is. So if you look, the Kimball house is in the left-hand side of the map, and that's rock wall with a walk path over there. That's the nearby cemetery. And if you notice, there's a walk path from the study out towards the
back.
Yeah, the back in the cemetery.
Or
walk path.
I guess it's the side. I guess.
Yeah, and it's that path that leads out to the cemetery. Is straight from his study. As you guys pull up to the residence, Thomas will come out to greet you. He's in his his 20s, 30s. He just happened to be the nephew of Thomas that's lucked out and was the closest to Douglas outside of Violet. and had inherited the house once Douglas had gone missing, which was about a year ago. Oh, Violets! I'm glad you could finally make it out this way. It's a little bit of a journey from Arkham.
It is a little bit of a journey, but we've made it.
And I see you brought quite the team. I'm hoping it's nothing that serious, but oh, what? Instead of us talking out here, please come inside. We'll get you guys settled in. I have a couple rooms to set you up in, so you don't have to look for a hotel in town. It's just the darndest thing. I guess I probably should write more often, but Douglas went missing about a year ago, and once they couldn't track him down, he kind of called me up and told me that I had inherited the home. I moved in, but I didn't have the heart to touch his study. As you know, he loved books, and I just didn't want to touch any of them, so I've left them all in there. The other day I went into dust, and there was noticeable gaps in the study where some of his books were. So I don't know how many were stolen, but I can clearly see that there's gaps on the bookshelf from where some of the books were. But I have yet to find anything in here that would indicate that someone managed to get in and out without alerting anybody. And that's what's got me concerned, is how do they get in my house without leaving any traces?
Violet, are you familiar with this residence?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll say, like, familiarity is like you've been out here 2 or 3 times, like not super frequently, just because how far it is from your current home in Arkham. So it's like that uncle that, like, you see, like, every
rich uncle that lives way far away.
It's like every couple years, like, you'll interact with them. They're, for you specifically, he's always been nice, and he also enjoys reading, for what you remember, which is why he was really big in supporting you with becoming an author. The few times that you've been up to the residence, you remember his study being this, like, room filled with books of all kinds, and that he made a point of always taking care of every single book. Like, they're all still in pristine condition, despite how often he reads.
Cool. Well, please, show us around and maybe take us to the study.
Yeah, so he'll show you around. There's a couple different rooms for, like, bedrooms. Like, I would say it's probably one main bedroom that he stays in, and then a couple spare rooms that he'll have you guys set up. And so it'll be like 2 people per room if you're staying at the residence there. Standard dining room, kitchen. Like, none of it's overly important. Like, the main thing for you guys is the study. As you kind of get into the study there, like I said, it's almost exactly like you remember it, Violet. It's cluttered and piled high with all of Douglas's books. There are books of all shapes and sizes and all subjects, identical, and the only thing that's identical about them is that they're all very well kept.
How big is the space?
The thing I'm kind of picturing, which is way too big, is the library and Beauty and the Beast. Like, that's the vibe I've got.
Dude, that's what I've been thinking this whole time. That's really funny.
Hell yeah.
So I would say it's probably more like...
just not that big. It's just a little small.
Yeah, so, like, you would have on either side of the wall, there's a row of bookcases. There's a window on the far wall with, like, a smaller bookcase there. And then there's, like, a table that's piled up with books in the center and a couple more piles of books around the room. So, like, there is room to sit and read, but basically it's been primarily a storage area for books, from what you can tell. But just like Thomas indicated, there's some noticeable gaps on the bookcase that you can see.
Carmilla will probably hang out in the front room and just smoke.
Looking around, like, are there any other points of entry to this room? Oh, wait, there's that door that goes out to the path, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, that's it. There's some windows.
Yeah, there's a door and a window there.
Well, Archibald, I do have a keen eye, but I don't necessarily know where to start looking. This is kind of your theme, am I correct?
He kind of straightens his jacket out, gaining a little bit of confidence, feeling useful again. Would he be able to like notice anything standing out?
What are you looking at specifically? Just trying to get a vibe for where you're looking to see if there's something out of place.
Like let's just say like generally like glancing around the room, like without like having to like move or get close up inspection, just kind of like looking around. Is there anything that he would notice?
Give me a spot hidden. Anybody else that's using the same approach of just generally looking, go ahead and give a spot hidden as well.
Yeah, I'll kind of just like take a glance around the room, just like, I mean, outside of like the bookcase and the books that are missing that we were told, like, are there like standard papers or whatever, that kind of thing.
That would be 89 for
Spot hidden.
Archibald.
Yeah,
Oh, I have to roll 40 here.
that's not too bad for a spot hidden.
Ooh! Okay, it's just a regular success, but a 28.
Perfect. Violet, are you rolling?
Oh, yeah. What am I rolling? Sorry.
If you
Spot
want
hidden.
a spot hidden, just to see if you catch anything out of the ordinary, just at a kind of a face value there.
I cannot find what I'm looking for on my character sheet.
It should be
Spot
alphabetical,
hidden, it's in
so
the
it's yeah.
right hand column, about the middle.
Right. No. Oh, 25.
You rolled a 25?
I rolled 28.
Okay, so for Archibald and Violet, you're looking around, and there's too many books to kind of like get a good gauge of what's going on in this room. You're not seeing anything aside from the gaps. You're not seeing anything else. It's going to take quite a bit of time to kind of like look through. For you, Gillis, you kind of look out, and whether it be just because of like personal tendencies to like see from another person's eyes, through your psychology, you kind of got a mental image of like who Douglas is as a person. You're able to pick out a journal that appears to be from Douglas. As you start flipping through it, you can see there's a date on here that kind of matches up right before he went missing. On it,
I think I got something as I start to read aloud.
it's pretty cryptic, but it says, "Reaching a decision and joining with my friends below." As you kind of like start flipping further and further back, you'll see some earlier journal entries that seem to hint at a network of tunnels beneath the cemetery that are inhabited by mysterious creatures that Douglas saw moving about the cemetery at night.
For fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so right when I get to that part of the journal, I start to, like, realize what I'm reading and start to get choked up and be like, guys, we were just supposed to find some books. And I toss the journal to Violet to look through and continue reading.
Violet's gonna go ahead and read it.
Perfect. There's nothing major benefit from reading it. It's a personal journal for Douglas. A lot of it details some of like his favorite reading spots around the town and like that type of stuff. One of those reading spots actually happens to be the cemetery. Nothing specific from the journal, just that it's one of the places he enjoys going to read or enjoyed going to read. Gillis, before I forget, make sure you put a check mark next to that spot hidden so you can roll for it later.
Great. Real quick, before I do any looking around, I just like pop my head in the hallway into the hallway. Sorry, god damn it. As a Carmila, are you going to come join us, or are you going to continue smoking the rest of that pack of cigarettes?
She just smokes and looks at you. Anything need killing?
Well, no, but I mean, you can at least stand outside the door so you can hear what we're talking about. Aren't you at least a little bit curious?
She just... She goes, I don't care unless I have to kill something and do my job. You're here to do your job. And she kind of walks towards you, very almost menacingly. She keeps smoking.
I just pop my head back into the room. Well, okay.
And then she just puts her back against the door. If it makes you feel safer.
Yes. Yes. Anyways. Can I approach the bookcase? You mentioned before that Douglas seemed to be like very meticulous about how he kept his books in order. Is there can I follow the pattern of books on the shelf that like maybe are in a series to maybe ascertain potentially like what could have been lost, I guess?
So between Thomas's comments and like your own perusing, it's while Douglas loved his books and took well care of them, it doesn't seem to be in like a Dewey Decimal System sort of like.
Okay.
So like, there's no rhyme or reason to how they're put on the shelf. Like you notice there's a handful missing. Thomas seems to think there's about 6 that are missing, but there's no clear defining thing of which ones are gone. Thomas wasn't that advent of a reader, so like he doesn't know specifically which ones would even be important to Douglas.
Gotcha.
Nor would Violet, because she wasn't up there often enough to see which ones he would read the most often.
I turn around after looking at the bookcase. Well, I don't know about you guys, but do we need to look underneath the cemetery potentially? It sounds like that's maybe where he went. I don't know.
Archibald kind of chimes in. He's like, that actually might seem like a good idea. For a minute, I thought you were about to suggest some grave robbing, which I'm always down to do.
No,
just so you know.
No. No.
Hey, I've learned some good things in some coffins. If you know what I'm saying.
Right. Not knowing what you're saying.
Probably not even really sure that Archibald knows what he's saying.
I will say, this would be a very great next book for Violet. I just got done reading this book about ghosts, and now we're going to a cemetery. I feel like I've been primed. We do have that one, though, as I gesture out towards the hallway. Maybe we'll be more safe.
Of course.
Violet's gonna look up from her journal and look at you, Gillis, be like, I mean, if you're too scared to go, you can stay here and us three will go to the cemetery.
Me? No, I'm not scared. I'm just primed, that's all. Yes, primed.
Gillis, let me ask you something. As she doesn't enter the room, she's talking from outside the room. How many graveyards you been to?
Oh, a handful. One just a couple years ago when my parents passed.
I didn't ask for a fucking sob story. I asked how many times you went.
I don't know. Do people keep track of how many times they've been to a cemetery?
So
Yeah.
you understand that some corpses sound like they're breathing when the air leaves their body, correct?
Yes.
No, you didn't. You see her footsteps walking away.
Okay. So what? Where? Should we just go take a look at the cemetery? Just to peruse, not to do anything drastic?
Yeah, she's just trying to scare you, but he leans into your ear. They really do sound like that.
Now you're just frustrating him, and he just kind of looks at you. That's enough of that, as he adjusts his suit tux. I'm not scared. I'm ready to go. Don't take the crack in my voice now for anything else. And I head towards the door.
Perfect.
Archibald will kind of like pantomime like he's adjusting a monocle on his eye and like follow you.
Perfect. Is everybody going? I assume Violet, since you're already in the room. Carmilla, are you coming with them?
Yeah, I mean she's going to the car.
I don't know. It's not
It's
the
a
car.
path out the back.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh,
Yeah.
she follows. Nonetheless, she follows.
All
What's
right.
the weather right now outside? Is it like cold or warm?
It's August, so it's like late summertime. So it's
It's like questionable. It's like getting cold, but it's like hot in the afternoon.
yeah.
What time is
From
that?
my experience, like Michigan area during the summer, it's kind of muggy. Like there's a chance of rain, but like not super. Like it's the normal summer shower sort of vibe. A little
She'll keep
warm,
her
but
coat
outside
on
of that. As you guys start working your way out to the graveyard or cemetery, you'll see that it's reasonably well tended, although the vegetation is quite abundant with lots of tall bushes and ancient trees kind of dotting the spaces between gravestones and tombs. You can tell that this is a cemetery that's been here for quite some time. Like the stonework on some of like the headstones is pretty weathered. Like you can't even like read who is buried there because of how weathered it is. As you get further and further in, you'll kind of spot a gardener who's digging out weeds at the far side of the cemetery. Whenever he kind of like sees you guys approaching, he'll kind of turn around and wave hello. This is Melodious Jefferson. He's been the caretaker of the cemetery for about 20 years.
28 years.
20 years.
Oh.
How you guys doing? What brings you out to the cemetery? I've never seen you guys around Arnoldsburg. Not many folks come out this way.
Not from around here. We're here to check up on some of the bodies here.
Huh.
Archibald kind of chimes in and he's like, we're here for specific reasons. You see, we're from the IRS. What can you tell us about
Oh my god!
No.
what can you tell us about some
Yes!
spooky happenings around
Yes!
Give you a persuade roll. Or a charm, whichever you prefer. If you're putting on the Archibald Wiles. You can go with the charm. Laying on thick.
Oh, damn. I fail either way.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I mean, I kind of just tend the cemetery here, so like, unless you got something specific, I'm probably just gonna do my thing.
Have you seen some shit you can't explain?
Give me what sort of vocalization are you trying to go for here?
Well, she's an asshole, so I guess I'd say intimidation, just by nature.
Okay, give me a intimidation roll.
Okay. $98.
Ooh.
oh shit. Oh
So-
shit. Oh no.
He immediately takes massive offense to this. Well, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you come up while I'm trying to do work and just start berating me, asking questions. I don't even know who the hell you are. So, good day. And he's going to
Oh,
start
shit.
heading off to
Sheesh.
work on a different part of the cemetery.
Were we done questioning him? Does she like get that vibe at all from?
Well, he
The
certainly is. We didn't really get to the questioning yet.
Oh, that's perfect. She flicks her cigarette at the back of his head and goes, "Oi!"
Oh my god, dude.
Give me another intimidation. This is a push roll. So
Okay.
what that means is the consequences of failing are significantly higher than what they were before.
Okay. I got a 14.
Okay.
What was your
that's-
intimidate?
20.
Okay, regular success. Well, lady, I swear to God, I just want to get some work done. So what the hell do you want?
Listen, I want to get some fucking work done too. And second of all, if I was berating you, you'd fill it. Third of all, my bookworm friends here have some questions to ask. You answer it, you can go back to playing in the fucking dirt.
Well, I'm done talking to you, so you could just go.
She doesn't move. She just lights in a cigarette.
Yes, Carmela, thank you. That should be enough. Melodious? What was his name?
Melodious. It's like Meliodias.
Melodious, I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot. The thing is, our matters are quite urgent, and I'm sure you're very much aware of Douglas Kimball.
Oh yeah, he's the was the gentleman that owned the house there right up against the cemetery. I kind of miss that old man. He'd come out here all the time. He'd talk with me, kind of see how things were going. We talk about everything, the weather, politics. He'd tell me about some of the stories from his foreign lands that he was reading in his books all the time. He'd set up on that tombstone over there. You see the big one? It's kind of weathered out. Almost looks like it's a park bench now with how weathered out it is. He'd sit up there and just read all day.
You know, I know that he was loved by many, and I'm just curious, what do you think happened to him? Because I know it's sort of a mystery.
I don't know. It was just kind of he got more and more reclusive as time went on. He wanted to spend more time in his books than interacting with other people. Like I was one of the few ones he would talk to on a regular basis. So like, I mean, I never really put too much into it. But as much as I enjoy kind of loitering around, I'll probably start heading back to doing my thing unless you got something more detailed. Everybody give me a psychology roll.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
I was actually also just about to whisper something to Archibald, if you would allow it after the fact.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
What are we rolling?
Psychology?
Sorry.
Oh boy. I have a 77 in that, y'all.
Where is that at?
It's
Are
on
you
the
fucking kidding
top
me,
right
Archibald?
column on the third, on the right.
Oh, okay, let me see.
It's right towards the top, below persuade, and above.
If I don't have that, do I just roll?
So yeah, if you don't have any skill in it, it should.
It's gonna
just
go to
be
you whatever the
10%.
base is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, I got the crit on the 1d10 for the first roll. So is that like 100?
It depends on what you rolled on the second.
Okay. 4.
I mean, that's a hard success if you only had a 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if I get a nat 20, if I get the nat critical of my 1d10, it's basically a 0 in front of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I got a regular success.
Okay. Archibald, it sounded like you might have failed.
Yeah, I have a 70, and I fucking rolled a 71.
Oh, damn. Violet, did you roll?
I did. I got a 26.
That's a pass, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you mark your psychology box for the 3 that passed. Really, the big thing that you guys are picking up off of this, his body language, the way his eyes are kind of shifting and everything, is just there's more to what he knows about the cemetery. He's just not wanting to share, whether it be he's just not comfortable sharing or whatnot. Archibald and Gillis, do your thing, and then after that, we're going to roll a spot hidden.
I was just about to say, you literally just touched on what I was going to whisper to Archibald. So I had been taking light notes as he was answering my questions, and I'll like lean back and kind of cover my mouth slyly and just whisper to Archibald, I don't think he's being dishonest, but I don't know if he's sharing everything we might need to know. You should press him on, features of the graveyard somehow. Like, try to ask about the secret tunnels without asking about the secret tunnels.
He goes, right, got you.
Yeah, I just kind of take a step back.
Okay, everybody give me a spot hidden before we press with Archibald's dialogue, just in case he wants to shift it.
And Cassandra noticed that he's not telling us everything, right? Not Cassandra.
Yeah.
Carmila.
Carmilla.
Yeah, Carmilla, you would have picked up on it as well.
Is he still like right in front of us?
Yes, he's turning to walk away, but he's still right there.
Okay, she'll see what happens on the next reaction.
I got a regular success.
Same.
Regular.
I finally got a regular success on something.
Finally.
Perfect.
I got an 89.
Okay.
Ah, shit.
Fail. Violet, and if you don't want to roll, you're more than welcome to skip any of the rolls as you see fit. But Violet, if you want to roll a spot hidden, feel free to.
And when we
I
get
rolled a
normal,
1.
You
You
rolled
got-
a 1?
You roll a crit?
I did roll a 1.
Holy
Nice.
shit!
Damn.
Dude!
Okay.
Wow.
Anytime you roll any success, whether regular, hard, or crit, you get to check the box. You can only check it once per scenario, sort of thing. Or if I did last time, between first session and second session, we took a break. We rolled for stat increases. So if you roll another spot hidden, you don't get to check it twice. You only get to check it once.
Right.
But so all 3 of you check the spot hidden. For Gillis and Archibald, you'll see that there's a small bottle sticking out of the pocket of his waistcoat. Violet, not only do you see that it's a bottle, you can identify with 100% certainty that it's a bottle of alcohol.
Oh shit. He's drinking on the job.
He's drinking in general, and we're technically government officials.
Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, Violet, what do you do with this information?
I'm gonna quietly tell all of you that that is what he is doing.
Oh, perfect.
Carmila just kind of smirks a little bit and goes, "You know, this seems like a bit of a dry country, wouldn't you say?"
Yes, I haven't been able to find anything around here.
It's almost if I can. I yearn for it so much I can smell it close by.
What are you guys getting at? Like I said, I'm trying to get back to work.
Hey, listen here. You see? Don't you remember who I said we were? We were from the IRS.
With the government.
And it doesn't look like you are following work protocol regulations, as you would say.
Or how about the what was it called when they had no alcohol again?
Prohibition.
Prohibition.
No, you ever heard of a prohibition, Gardner?
Archibald, give me a intimidate roll with a bonus die.
Hell yeah.
What does the bonus die do?
You get to roll 2 tens place, take the lower of the two.
Oh, so it's like reverse advantage.
Yeah. What's funny is I edited last session's video and you said it exactly that way.
Oh, really? Shit.
It's a good
Well,
analogy.
Either way, that's a fail on the intimidate.
Oh, damn.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Yeah, his intimidate's only a 15, and I rolled a 50, regardless.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Well, the way I see it is you can report me either way, but I'm kind of done with just interacting with you guys in general.
Oh, shit. We fucking botched this.
I'm going to go back to work. Do what you will. But, good day. Eddie's going to walk off.
Damn.
Carmila's gonna kind of like scratch her nose as she looks at Gillis, Archibald, and Violent. Goes, "Do you guys want to keep doing this your way, or do you want to get answers my way?"
I bite my tongue.
I don't think we should hurt the lad.
I don't think he doesn't need to feel pain.
Why don't we start by checking out the grave that he said that good old Douglas was hanging out at? Maybe dig it up. There could be something in there.
She puts her hand on Gil's shoulder, like, "You love digging up dead bodies, right, Doc?" As she walks past him after giving him a hard pat.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm very frail. I'm not very bulky, so like, you know, it hurts. Yeah, so yeah, I'll just follow Archibald's lead and find this grave. Sounds like it.
Taking a sip from her flask and moving that way. Okay.
Yeah, Archibald will go for spot hidden.
Oh my god.
What the
I needed a 40 and I rolled a 40.
Okay, guys.
These dice are grounded.
I
That's a fail.
rolled 2 criticals on my 1d10.
Wow.
So what is that? Is that 100 or is that 0?
Well, what? So it 0, 0, and a 0 should be 100. But if it's 0, 0, and 1, yeah, if you roll triple zeros, that's a critical fail.
She's too busy drinking.
Yeah. After we try to extort the gardener for also drinking.
We're impersonating federal officers that they don't give a shit.
Yeah, you're right.
Impersonating the IRS, which like
Doesn't have
isn't
any
fucking
matter in
irrelevant.
this. Right?
What's funny is like saying you're from PICA would have more weight than saying you're from the IRS.
I just like Gillis just has this natural instinct to want to hide PICA. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Maybe it's like
Well, it's
I
fun,
don't know.
yeah, but I love how Archibald's now taken to it.
Yeah.
Violet, what was your role?
I failed.
Okay, so Gillis, did you roll spot hidden? Or you roll track?
Oh, spot hidden.
Okay, perfect. As you're kind of like looking this over, you're already kind of like liking the vibe that this like seated position, like aside from the fact that it's in a cemetery, you're kind of like, yeah, it's a pretty nice spot to sit. As you kind of start looking around a little bit more, though, you notice that there's some strange tracks around the tombstone, which look to have been made by man-sized bare feet that end in cloven hooves rather than toes.
So who's got the shovel?
Do we have a shovel?
I say, well, that's peculiar, and I'll get down on my knee, careful not to like get my trousers too dirty, and I'll pull out my camera and try to take a good shot of the footprint.
She just kind of like has her hands in her pockets as she kind of like bends over and goes, "So you're in the feet prints, huh?"
And to just so you're 100% visualizing this, it's not just a single footprint; it's a track.
How far does it go off before we don't see it?
Well, and
It's a pretty decent distance, like through the cemetery.
Well, and you said that it starts off as like human feet and then turns to like hooves.
Yeah. So it's not just a hoof. It looks like a heel of a human foot, and then ends at a hoof.
Oh, that's really weird.
Oh, whoa!
That's fucking weird, dude.
Fucking
I don't like
clip-clopping
that.
everywhere.
But
She's
it's not just clip clopping. It's something else. It has an ankle.
Or maybe a cankle.
She's gonna pull out her shot-up shotgun as she looks over to Archibald. You stay in the far back and cover the rear. And she's gonna start following the tracks.
I'm going to tastefully pull out my magnifying glass.
Archibald will pull out his pistol and, like, very like James Bond spy like, just kind of bring up the rear, watching it.
And like 80 feet away, the gardener's like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, fuck this.
So I'll let Carmela take the lead on these tracks.
Perfect. As you guys follow the tracks through the cemetery, you'll see that they lead to a door of a mausoleum. If you were liking to go in, you'll need to pass a strength roll. If you're working together, whoever has the higher strength roll can have it at advantage or with the bonus die.
My strength is 45. I'm just below average.
Camille. Okay.
I have a 60.
Oh.
I got 40.
I got a 50. Camille will hand the sawed-off shotgun to Gillis and like, "Don't shoot yourself." And she's gonna try and open the door.
You can tell I've never held a gun before, and I just like take it like a little Nancy.
Yeah, both me and Carmela will try on the door together.
Perfect. Carmilla, roll this with a bonus die. So roll the 10s twice, take the lower of those, and then roll your 1s place.
Wait, okay. That confuses. Okay, sorry. Sorry, what?
So roll 2 10s place, take the lower of the 2, and then roll your 1s place.
And then roll the single, yeah.
Oh, okay. 20. 25.
Perfect. So with the combined assistance from Archibald, you're able to roll the door open. Before we do anything else, how is everybody doing this? What are your guys' positions and reactions as you're opening the door?
I am I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm terrified, but the anxiety has built up in me such that I I'm starting to get that sort of adrenaline response. You know.
The breathing heavy, eyes
Yeah.
shaking.
Mm-hmm.
Carmila's in the front, opening the door. So she probably won't have the best reaction time, but she's got her hands.
Okay, Archibald is up on the door with Carmila, just kind of like, as he like gets in position with her, he's just like, okay, on three, and just starts heaving.
She just starts tugging along.
And Violet?
I'm standing there waiting with my little notebook and pen, ready to write anything that happens as we go in.
Oh my god, I love it.
We're getting slaughtered by a fucking skinwalker, and she's like, yes. Okay. Yes.
Need this for my book. Need it. Ah.
Yeah, as it tore the flesh off their bodies, you could hear them scream in pain.
Violet, help. Violet, why are you just standing there? Violet.
As they cried. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. As the door is rolled out of the way, a horrible stench wafts out. In fact, it's so heavy that because no one was covering their mouth or nose, all of you black out.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
And
Oh, shit.
that is where we'll end.
Oh my god!
Too.
Are you kidding me?
We all blacked out. I'm like, God, cliffhanger.
What?